Wanna come over for tea?
Hello? Hello, can people hear me? Can y'all hear me? Hi, Akamatsu. Hi, Gyan Nunez. Hi, Alpha. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Abby. How you doing? What is up? Are we ready?
Go!
Are y'all ready for version 3.5? I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Y'all can hear me. Good. Good. Hello, Mui. Hello. Oh, hey, Pixie. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hello, I'm a rainbow mushroom. I like your name. Hello, rainbow mushroom. I'm good, Pixie. I'm good. By the way, y'all should go check out Pixie's channel. She's really cool. Follow her on Twitter. She's awesome. Go do it. Go do it. Hello, Diego. Hello, Lena. How you doing? Hello, Kawaii Beans. Hello. Jess Blues. How you doing? Hello, Glitch. Happy to hear from you. Yes, I know it's been a minute. I have been very, very silent. I did one of my I disappear for like, how long has it been since my Ruka Devada and Nikita video? Like 3 months, 2 months, something like that. No, you're sweet. But I'm glad to see all of you guys. Hello, Swifty. Hello. Hi again, you had to reconnect. Hello, Gyan Nunez. Hello again. Breaks are good sometimes though. Yes, I needed a mental break after that one. Oh, I needed a mental break after that one. But I have exciting news to share. I have very exciting news to share. The next phase of my Sun and Moon video. Why am I in here? Wait, was it for... Oh, it's for that daily commission, that's why. The next phase of my Sun and Moon series is about to begin. And we're starting things off with the Sustainer. Immediately after that though, we're actually gonna do a video that's kind of a Sun video that I was gonna save for later, but I realized it has to come after the Sustainer video, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to do it later, because the two videos are very connected with each other. So get ready, y'all. Oh, I'm coming back. I'm coming back, and I'm about to drop some bombs.
Thanks.
Hi, Lux Sky. Oh, Mui, it's your first time? Well, welcome. Yes, DAIN and Kaeya, Pixie. DAIN and Kaeya. That is what I am so excited for. I want to talk about version 3.5 because I'm so excited for it. Like, y'all have seen the screenshot, right? Of like DAIN and Kaeya sitting at the same table, presumably having a conversation. Like, we're finally here, question mark? Like, it's kind of hard to believe that we're at this point. But then again, we're like halfway through the game. Like, Sumeru's the 4th region, y'all. And we're about to go to the 5th one, Fontaine, in like a few patches. Like, things have been speeding up. Time has just been passing by real quick. Oh, goodness. Hello, Valis Dance, how you doing? I'm doing well. Hope y'all are doing well. Wait, where can we find that screenshot? Is it a leak or was it officially published? No, it was officially published by like the PlayStation website or something like that. It was like Kaeya and then the Traveler Paimon and then DAIN all sitting at a table talking.
Thanks.
And I think it's an official thing. Yeah, it's a screenshot from the PlayStation Japan's blog. Thank you. Thank you, Gyan Nunez.
Wherever in this world I roam.
It's exciting and kind of sad how far we're through Genshin already. Yeah. Do y'all think they'll ever, like after Genshin's done, do you think they're gonna do a sequel or something? Because I mean, the game was pretty popular. I don't know like how well it's doing right now. I assume it's still doing well, but...
Thanks, but I'll pass.
I think Inazuma was like the peak, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know, like, how popular it is now. I assume super popular still. I've been thinking a lot about Irminsul lately. There are things that don't match up for me. Wow, I just added in words there. Either there are some whole plots or plot holes, Nahida is lying to us, or I'm totally wrong. Well, wait, what's confusing you? What's not matching up for you? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Maybe another world? I mean, yeah, that would be like the easiest thing to do, right? Because we're already like travelers. We're aliens from another world, so what's stopping us from going to another one? Unless, hopefully our sibling doesn't fucking die at the end of this game. Do y'all think that's gonna happen? Like, that's been running through my mind, and I'm like, I'm super scared. Or they turn out to be like the same person, because you know, twins are kind of like the same person in a philosophical sense. Like, what if they are like halves, two halves of one whole? That has been running through my mind as well, because I've been realizing in this game, as I've been doing research, like, we have to be careful when looking at lore stuff, or like trying to pick apart allegories and such, because what we think might be talking about one person is actually talking about multiple people or multiple characters that might actually be considered the same. Because Hoyoverse loves to do that. They love to do the whole twin thing, or like the other side of another person. We've seen it so many times at this point.
Time to go.
There's got to be a huge plot twist coming. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I just hope this game has a happy ending. But then again, you know, happy endings aren't everything. It could always be a sad ending too. Who knows? What do you think about maybe Paimon is part of the sibling? I think in some way, Paimon is like attached to us in more ways than we know. Cause like, I still think about Shadows Amidst Snowstorms, or whatever that quest was, where, no, I don't think it was Shadows Amidst Snowstorms, it was something else, where Albedo calls, Paimon an external organ to us. It was really sus. They have this entire halves of a whole thing. Yeah, I think in the end, we might go our different ways. Like, the twins are often different in birthday events. Yeah. I just hope at the very end, both of them are, like, alive. And happy and well. Yeah, his story quest. Thank you, Lux Sky. Yeah, Albedo said Paimon was like an external organ, which is so weird. So weird. Well, here's the thing. If the Descenders aren't recorded in Irminsul, how is recorded all their interactions with the people that are recorded? So I've been thinking about that too. Then if the Heavenly Principles is a Descender, then it shouldn't be recorded in Irminsul, right? How does Nahida know about it if everything she knows basically comes from Irminsul? That's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. But we know you can hide information in Irminsul, right? But then again, that doesn't answer the question of why she knows about the Heavenly Principles. But I mean, like, if you think about it, we've gotten information about the Heavenly Principles specifically from Archons or gods, right? So we've heard about it from she mentioned the Heavenly Principles in relation to Conria. Nahida did the same thing, though she gave us a little bit more information, like how Gnosis are a symbol of the Heavenly Principles' control. We heard about it from Makoto in relation to the Sacred Sakura, and then also Zhongli in relation to erosion. I don't know if it's like a thing Archons inherently know, but that's a good point, because Nahida's only like 500 years old. Maybe Dottore had something to do with that, I don't know. Or like, she doesn't necessarily solely get all her information from Irminsul, right? She's like been slowly learning about things over time. I'm guessing, I don't freaking know. Unless the Heavenly Principles isn't a Descender. It's possible. It is possible. The way that I took it is Nahida knows something about the origins of the world, possibly. Maybe, maybe she learned something in the conversation with Dottore when he mentioned the false sky. Because we don't know what they talked about. And Nahida didn't really tell us everything, because she didn't even mention the false sky stuff that her and Dottore talked about. She didn't mention it at all, which I found to be sus. I saw another streamer say that the Sustainer looks like a corrupted god. Haha, we're gonna talk about that. Her cubes were behind Irminsul when Irminsul was corrupted. She kind of matches the princess who went after the Gnostic Pearl. We're gonna talk about all of that. So I'm not saying diddly squat, but I think you're on to something. I think you are on to something. All right, let's turn this in. Oh, I gotta spend my resin too, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to play the patch tonight. It depends on... because I gotta get up early tomorrow. I don't know. You're late? What did you miss? Not much, Pure Vanilla, not much.
Ad Astra Abyssal.
Just been running around and
Thank you
yammering,
for completing
per
today's
usual.
commissions. Here is your reward.
I think it's probably information either inherently known or it's given through the Gnosis. Yeah. By now, it seems like the Heavenly Principles is a known entity and is part of the hierarchy of Tevat. Yeah. Did you get Bennett's birthday mail? Wait. Let's read it. It's not actually my birthday today since I'll need to wait another year before the actual date finally comes around. But getting together with my dads and friends means far more to me than just celebrating the day of my birth. This year, my dad's chipped in and bought me a big double-decker cake. I guess it's true what people say. You get what you pay for. The cream and fruit on the cake were so delicious that they nearly brought me to tears. How does Bennett know what his birthday is? Wasn't he like found in a domain? Is that the day they consider his birthday? I'm really blessed. It's something special that I get a cake and care from everyone each year for my birthday. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, I did see his art. It was cute. It was cute. Do I have a Discord server? Technically, yes, but it's not open right now. I may or may not open it at some point. I have to decide. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but I originally started my content creation journey making Kingdom Hearts Union Cross videos. And a new Kingdom Hearts gacha game is coming out called Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. And I might make videos for that, but I don't know if it's going to be on this channel. So what I may end up doing is I might make a whole other server at some point for the Genshin stuff. But we'll see. They probably found him on February 29th and made that his birthday. Yeah, that makes the most sense. That's so rude of them. They could have just lied about the day and gave him a better birthday. Yeah, that's true. The poor guy is just unlucky. We did tell Nahida about our origins, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she knows that we're... Yeah, she knows we're not of this world. I don't know when we told her that, though. I can't remember. When did we tell her that? But she knew. Oh, wait. I mean, Dottore told her who the fourth descender was. Because, like, the Traveler's the only confirmed one. She hypothesizes the Heavenly Principles are the first. Hazo also mentions Paimon being a voice, too. That's sus. I mean, she kind of is, though, because she talks for us. Jesus. So I guess that could be how she's our external organ. Hi, Hermes. How you doing? That's how I found this channel, actually, through Kingdom Hearts Union. Yeah, you've been here for a long time, Lux. Yeah, Lux has been here for a while. Crack theory. An astrologist was asked to find his birthday. I wonder what Dottore told Nahida about the truth of the world. I don't know. I want to know, too. Do I artifact farm? Or do we farm for weapon stuff? Wait, I'm still building my Al-Haytham. Let's see what we need. I have his weapon at level 80. I mean, that's fine for now, I guess. Yeah, we need some artifacts, so we're gonna go get some artifacts. I have had the worst luck in this fucking domain. Probably when our consciousness was connected. Oh, that's true, yeah. She can just kind of pop into our minds as well. I forgot about that. Hazel called Voicebox. He said, much like a vision in external foci. Yeah, there's voice lines about that too, about Paimon kind of being the traveler's vision, even though it was told in like a joking manner. It's kind of just like, The other thing about that is Nahida also, like, during, which was it? The Morn of 1,000 Roses, or whatever that Archon quest was called. Nahida also said that Paimon is receiving the blessing, or she received, rather, the blessing of Dendro, which was interesting. So it's not just us that's getting...
You want me?
That's getting our power back. Seems like Paimon's absorbing the elements as well. The Dendro artifact domain is the worst. It has been for me. Like, I just have no luck. I think it's cute that Paimon is actually teaching the Traveler the language of Teyvat. She also helps him training, like, she helps him train with the elements as well. It's why they talked more in Inazuma and Sumeru than Mondstadt and Liyue. They didn't speak the language. Right, but that makes her even more sus. Because it's like, if the Travelers didn't speak the language, but Paimon was able to communicate, like, does that mean she knew what the Traveler's language was? Or it was similar enough for them to, like, understand each other? Like, it's confusing. It's suspicious. Paimon is becoming the Avatar, yes. We definitely are. Oh, well, there she goes. I knew she was gonna die. There's a theory that Paimon somehow helps us absorb the elements. I believe that. It seems like it. It's just hard to tell because, like, there's nothing overtly suspicious when we're actually getting the elements from the statues of 7. Like, nothing really happens with Paimon, she's just kind of like watching. There are times where Paimon and the Traveler talk, but the dialogue was in its parentheses, so it looks like telepathy. Their mouths don't move either. See, like, okay, so those moments, I just assume they're talking quietly. But it is kind of hard to tell because there are moments where it's literally just the Traveler reading something in their mind. I missed you too, April. How you doing? Rinnies. Or maybe the Traveler knew the united language, or unified language, if we go by the theory of the twins being originally fashioned. Yeah, I think that's the case because if you guys remember, on Dragon Spine, there was like this part where you find like the old ancient script or whatever that the Abyss Order uses, right? I can't remember where it is, but it's like somewhere on the map. And Paimon's like, oh, what is this? I can't read it. This is weird. And then there's like a ... ellipses on the screen, and then we proceed to read it in our minds. Which is sus. Also, in the Dirge of Bilquis quest, or whatever the fuck, during that whole quest chain, you can find these little monuments, right? Just sitting around in places, but we can't read them. They are intelligible, However, after we get one of Liloupar's fragments and she like whispers something in our ear, then suddenly we understand the language, which is sus. It's sus because Liloupar is a djinn, and the djinn are descendants of Seelie. And who is our prime suspect for being a Seelie? Paimon. And she taught us the language of Teyvat. It's so weird.
Time to go.
It's us. After learning about the Harbingers, I find it interesting the gods in Genshin seem weaker than what other fictions identify as a god, at least compared to Greater Teyvat. It seems intentional. Yeah, it's like, it's building up to they're building up to this idea that the gods really kind of don't matter in the grand scheme of things, or at least compared to humans. Like, they're just building up that humans are more important. And also, like, when you consider that humans have the ability to become gods, allegedly, that just, like, amplifies that idea. Maybe the Traveler has language learning powers, or Paimon does. I want to say the Traveler can also pick up languages easily because they can read books that should be in other languages. Yeah, that's a good point, because the Traveler picks up skills pretty well. And that's like mentioned quite a few times. So I don't know, anything could go when it comes to the Travelers and Paimon. Like Etherlamine, Paimon, all of them are sus in my opinion. Literally all of them. Because like we don't know who to trust. The Travelers are completely unreliable. Like completely unreliable. Hello Ina, how you doing? Linard or Linard, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. How you doing? There's a theory that Paimon may be the primordial one because she is similar to the unknown god, Istaroth, and Seelis, which are shades of the primordial one. Yes, possibly. But here's my problem when it comes to the conversation of the primordial one. Literally, the definition they gave is androgynous, wings, crown. And that's pretty much it. And then also the potential name Phanes. It said the name may have been Phanes, which probably means it wasn't. But here's the thing. Androgynous, wings, and crown isn't really much to go off of, because while, for example, the Seelis and everything have very angelic qualities, which is kind of what Phanes has with wings, and also being of royal descent, you have to think about the Travelers too. The Travelers have wings. They don't have crowns, but they have the symbol for royalty, and they were literally called like banished prince or princess in the recent Dirge of Bilquis quest. Something like that. Or exiled is what the word was used. So it could easily be someone like them. I don't know, this overlap between the sun and moon is what's tripping me up when it comes to the primordial one, and it makes me think there's not just one, but possibly two. One for the sun and one for the moon. And we're gonna talk about it, but I think both of them were married to each other. Hello Star, the Sakuya flower, how you doing? Hello Alshu, how you doing? I think Paimon being a fragment of the primordial one makes more sense than being a depowered primordial one. Yeah, like if she is a shade and the shades are the moon sisters, Paimon could easily just be one of the other moon sisters. But here's also something that I'm gonna point out to you guys. If that does end up being true. Wait, hold on. Let's go to the archive. We gotta look at a weapon about the Moon Sisters. Alright. Blah, 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 blah. Liloupar lotuses. Blah, 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 blah. This is not what I'm... Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. What am I looking for? Here it is. Here it is. Because the three sisters, referring to the Moon Sisters, who mirror each other, long to be reunited. So, when people say that Paimon is not Istaroth, or it can't be Istaroth, I still disagree with that. Because like we were talking about earlier, Hoyoverse loves to do the whole other side of me thing. And the fact that that weapon said that the Moon Sisters mirror each other is really sus to me, because what's looking back at you when you stare into a mirror? You. Also, I already went over in Paimon's true identity. I'm assuming all of y'all have seen it, but when I was talking about the Triquetra and the maiden, the mother, and the crone being three aspects of one being like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit of Christianity, I feel like they're gonna go for all the sisters are kind of the same, but not really. They're different personas, but they're all the same being. Because if you think about it, even the shades, the shining shades of the Primordial One, it literally says in Before Sun and Moon, the Primordial One created shining shades of itself. Which to me sounds like cloning. Meaning they're literally all the same and could all be the Primordial One. It's really just a question of who's the original. Hello, love lambs. That makes a lot of sense. I hope so. I don't know who they're going to, or like what direction they're going to take it in, but I'm like super suspicious. And that might also explain why there's only one moon, but we're constantly told there's three also. Well, what if all three of them were considered technically the same? Tell me, April, tell me. Actually, I think that's really interesting because we're going to hear a lot about mirroring with Kaveh now. Yeah, so I guess like pay really close attention to this as we move forward in the story. And like I was saying earlier about when we're analyzing allegories, we have to be careful because sometimes they might be talking about more than one person. They might be talking about multiple ones. And they get away with it because those characters might be considered the same, even if they are different personas. Maybe reincarnation. Possibly. Like I like to look at the sisters as if it's literally gonna be like a maiden mother crone situation, because like the maiden is supposed to be representative of youth, so I think that's gonna be like the younger sister. Then there's the mother, who's like a full-grown woman, and then there's the crone, who's like the older woman. So maybe it'll follow that, like one little sister, one big sister, and then one eldest sister, who knows. Or actually, even better, just think of like Dottore segments, because it's literally that. Different ages, but still kind of the same person. But also not, because you have different mindsets when you're different ages. Blah, blah, blah. It's all philosophical. Do you think it's something like A and the Shogun? Ha 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 ha. Haha. We're gonna talk about that real soon. But yes, I think it'll... Well, no. I think that situation might be a little bit different. But yes and no. I'll just say that. I was thinking earlier about the Primordial One creating shades. Does that mean the Primordial One did that and was still alive with them? Or did the Primordial One split itself to 4? It sounds like the Primordial One, like, created the shining shades, but was also still, like, its own separate individual. Because they say, like, the Primordial One did battle with the dragons, but with its shades. It created life with one of its shades. So it sounds like it was still around. Hi, Sonnet. How you doing? Is it weird in loading screen it's like 2 or 3 stars in the sky? Wait, I haven't even noticed that. AKA a shooting star. Oh, wait, that's cool. I haven't noticed that. Okay, like the moons are allegedly dead, perhaps deleted or descended. What's not to assume they created Paimon post-falling? Or something. Like, we have no way to know the whole thing now, and it's messy with Paimon. Yeah, like, anything could go, really. Like, I have my own thoughts, but I'm not gonna share them here. I'm gonna put it into a video. But I think I have an idea of how Paimon may have come about. And also, what really happened to the sisters. We gonna talk about all of that. The twins are most likely royalty, prince and princess in their own world. Yep, probably. But that world could be to that. Who knows? It's just, I don't know. The twins are so sus. Twins are so sus. In Honkai, the inverted Paimon symbol was used as imaginary, so it's possible that the Paimon symbol just means real. So Paimon is the true god into that. Maybe the one before Primordial One. That is very interesting. And it's possible. You know what? One of the other, like, oh gosh. Oh, I thought I X'd out of the game. One of the other ideas I had about Paimon's triquetra or whatever. Notice the dot in the middle. What if that's representative of like a seed? Like she's a seed of the sisters. Kind of like how Nihida was a branch of Irminsul and thus Rukkhadevata. Hi Uniharu, how you doing? Hi people, oh my gosh. There's a lot of people here now. Oh wait, Paimon is like the one from Infinity Train. I have not seen Infinity Train at all. I'm good, Sonnet, I'm good. How do you think the Lord of Flowers fits into the system? Like, do you think the moons had their own gods aside from the sisters?
This scenery is wonderful.
So,
surely enough to convince anyone to become a one.
The goddess of flowers.
Time to go.
It's kind of, I have a theory coming out about it. Because have y'all seen Ashikai's video on the goddess of flowers and the comparisons that she made with Istaroth and her thinking the goddess of flowers is Istaroth in some way? And like all the moon stuff because she's a Seelie, but she has like a ton of Istaroth vibes, right? I think in that situation, because there are a lot of characters that have Istaroth vibes. Like in my opinion, Nihida and Rukkhadevata do as well. And what's interesting about that is, compared to Rukkhadevata and the Goddess of Flowers, they have a lot of similarities as well. Like connections with the Goddess Anahita, both being Colin Kazlana XPs. Like, in terms of the love thing, or rather unrequited love, the Goddess of Flowers fits that to a T, including like sacrificing herself and dying. That's like Colin. But Rukkhadevata is also like that. Rukkhadevata also sacrificed herself, and visually she looks like Colin. Like they have the same braids.
Wherever
and
in
then
this
also
world I roam, I
her
carry
relationship
memories of my
with
home.
Nihida is very similar
This blade.
to Colin's
It is the
relationship
last
to
link I
Teresa.
have to
And
the land
Nihida
of
also looks like Teresa. She's kind of like, she's definitely an XP of her. But it's not just the Goddess of Flowers and Nihida or Rukkhadevata. There's also people like Wei Zhang. You've seen people talk about how she might have been a Seelie. Then there's people like Makoto, who also has similarities with Istaroth. She even had Istaroth directly involved in her realm of consciousness or whatever the fuck was going on with that. So I have a theory coming out about that. I have thoughts because all of these Istaroth-like characters have a lot of similarities with each other, including like stuff related to forbidden knowledge. It's weird. And I'm like, I don't know if they're like pieces of her. I don't know. I really don't. I just think they're parallels right now. Like I talked about Nahida and Rukkhadevata paralleling Istaroth. That's what I think right now. But it's possible they all have a deeper connection than we realize. One question, didn't R&R confirm that Paimon is a Seelie on the way to old Vanarana? He didn't confirm, they didn't confirm it. They heavily implied because Paimon was talking about, I think she was talking about the R&R moving too fast. And then she was like, well, why don't you fly at the speed of a Seelie? That's kind of how I fly, or whatever the fuck she said. So it was like heavily implying that she is a Seelie. And then in one of the other side quests involving that one dude who betrayed whatever this village is called. What is this village called? Vimara Village. You remember the dude that you can kill or not? If you guys have done that quest. He like called Paimon like a Seelie-like creature or something. Just straight up called her a Seelie. And then, also, I'm gonna put it in a video, but when I played through Sumeru the first time, when you come into the city, there's a sound playing in the background, and it's identical to the sound that plays when you are close to Seelie. It's the sound that Seelie makes. But like the only person that could have been making that sound is Paimon in the scene. I'm gonna show you guys though, to prove, because I got it on camera. I got it on camera. I'm not crazy. Damn, bro, who isn't Istaroth at this point? I know, she's like, Istaroth is everywhere in this game. She's like, she's just everywhere. Everyone is Istaroth, everyone, she is everyone. It's just, ugh. Yeah, like the tingling sound that Seelies make. And I found it was really weird because I'm like, wait, there's no Seelie around. And then it was like, oh wait, it's Paimon. Oh wait, it's Paimon. Istaroth is Shaka Khan, basically. She's like oxygen, she's everywhere, absolutely. And then we barely know anything about the other shades. Right, like, what the fuck? When the Primordial one and one of the shades was creating life, what the fuck were the other three doing? I think one of them is the Heavenly Principles. Was made to be the Heavenly Principles. Was made to enforce the Heavenly Principles. Was made to guard to that.
There is no escape.
Not creating life. I mean, that is true.
Time to go.
Wait, did I make resin? Oh, no, I didn't. Let's go do that before I forget. Okay, good night, Rainbow Mushroom. Have a good time at work. I just know Bran Online is going to explode when he watches your next videos. Your theories are insanely in-depth. Oh, thank you. I was surprised when Bran had watched one of my videos because...
Follow the wind.
But I understood, like, it suddenly made sense because I had realized, like, all of a sudden I got all of these subscribers from nowhere, like, one day. And I was like, where the fuck is all this coming from? Why? And then that makes sense. It was Bran. But I'm glad he enjoyed the video. Hopefully he enjoys the other ones if he watches them. Now I get crazy on some of them, on all of them really, so hopefully he's ready for that.
Time to go. The wind.
We ride the Copian train on this fucking channel. Bran watched most of your vids during his subathon. We binged. Oh god. I didn't realize he watched like, oh wow. Well, good. I'm glad. Onion, do you think the Welkin lady is Istaroth? Yes, because the hairstyle looks exactly like her statue's hairstyle does. Yes. Yes, I think the Welkin moon is possibly Istaroth. Because you know how Honkai Impact, for those of you that play, when Eponia came out and people were comparing her to the Blessing of the Welkin moon? Well, I think Eponia is an Istaroth XP. Or rather, Istaroth is an XP of Eponia. So I think that wasn't by accident.
Time to go.
And the fact that it looks like the freaking statue of the omnipresent god, which is named Kannon. There's a moon sister named Canon. Istaroth has a whole bunch of moon vibes. It's all coming together, y'all. It's all coming together. Yeah, Eponia talks a lot about fate and like a whole bunch of other stuff that's really suspicious. And then she's like a motherly figure to Griseo, who also has moon imagery. Like a whole bunch. Which is suspicious to me. I'm gonna have to look at a Griseo a little bit more. Eponia also associates wind and time in the Elysian realm. Yeah, like she is the realm. She became the realm itself. Isn't that sus? Isn't that so relevant to what we've been talking about when it comes to Istaroth?
Time to go.
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be a sister. No, it's not Makoto. It doesn't really look like Makoto. I only buy Welkin because if that's Istaroth, I want to see Chibi Istaroth every time I log in. Aw, that's adorable. But also, don't give them your money. Just so you can see the Chibi Istaroth. No, I'm just kidding. Do whatever you want with your money. And Griseo created 4 paintings. 4? Interesting. So we were like, she's the primordial one and the 4. Oh, so that's why people say that. I didn't know why people were saying she's the primordial one. Other than like also she's associated with Project Arc, isn't she?
Time to go.
And like Project Arc might be related to Teyvat in some way. At the very least, I think it parallels well with what's going on in Teyvat. Maybe the Welkin Lady is another shade. Istaroth might be a god watching over humans and Welkin Lady blessing humans? Possibly. Possibly. Wait, oh, we have 15 minutes, y'all. Also, sorry if I've missed anybody's comments. I've kind of just been like playing and then just looking down randomly, so I apologize if I missed your comment. Well, eternity is time stretched to infinity, so A may kind of adore Istaroth. Well, that's funny because like, it's just interesting that A is associated and has a statue of what might potentially be Istaroth, and Istaroth might be an Eponia XP, and Raiden fucking May has an association with Eponia. And we still don't have confirmation if Griseo's alive. Yeah, that's true. We have no idea what happened with her, and then the other one, Cosma? What was his name, y'all? The one with the... I don't even fucking remember. I have to go back into the Elysian realm. I've been like going back to remind myself of what like fucking happened in certain parts. Cause like, it's just a blank. So I've been like speed watching Honkai Impact. Onion, there's a guy called the Hexenzirkel who dive deep all the Honkai characters related to the Elysian realm. Try some. So I know that channel. I know of that channel rather, the Hexenzirkel. They do some really good stuff, like lore stuff. It's really good. Go check them out if you haven't. But I have not seen specifically that stuff. I saw they uploaded like an hour-long video, but I did not watch it. But I think they were going over like Honkai and Genshin similarities, right? I have not watched it yet though, but yeah, they do good work. I've only been around since a little after your Paimon theory, but you have to be my favorite theorist. Oh, thank you. I just want y'all to be entertained, that's it. And also ride the Copium Express with me, because this game, oh, it's so massive and it's beautiful. Just from like a lore perspective, it's so good. Onion, do you think a lot of people will pass on Dehya? Yes, because she's... Yeah, because she's gonna be in the general pool later. So... I've seen a lot of opinions about Dehya. Like normally I'm not really into like numbers and stuff. I don't care about that when it comes to playing this game because I'm here for the story. But I saw people calling her trash and stuff like that. I saw people saying it's not really worth it to pull for her. But if you love the character, go ahead and pull for her. Go ahead and pull for her. But I do think a lot of people are gonna skip her because they're putting her in the general pool. I'm just kind of like, why did they do that? Does anybody know? Does anybody have an idea? Cause like, why do they do that? Cosma is dead. Oh, okay, well never mind.
Surely enough to convince anyone to become a wanderer.
Never mind. Grisea was the head of Project Arc. Why did they put a child in charge of that? Because Cosmo wanted her to be safe. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Are you gonna play Honkai Star Rail? I want to. Oh, you got into its beta, lucky you. Congrats. Yeah, I wanna play Honkai Star Rail because it looks fun. Did you see the consecrated serpent in the desert quest called the Fallen? That was called the Fallen Envoy. No, where the hell is that? Where the hell is that? Yes, it's possible because if you think about it, a god related to time interfering
Wherever
with
in this world I
Yep,
roam,
yep, it's us.
I carry memories of my home.
Do you have
This
a
blade.
weird feeling that
last
Sumeru
link I
characters
have
are
to the land
left
of
with
my birth.
incredibly vague but sus backstories that aren't elaborated on, like Sino, Candace, Layla? Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get expansions on a lot of the Sumeru characters, especially like people like Candace, because she only popped up once. And then I'm hoping we get a Dory event because she has a really cute backstory, y'all. And sad. And it explains why she like wants to get a whole bunch of money. But yeah, there's a lot of mystery around a lot of the Sumeru characters. I'm excited for Kaveh though. Goodness gracious, I'm so excited for him. Have you ever seen Evangelion? No, I have not. I have not, but I don't want to be depressed. Yeah, I'd heard that it was based on Evangelion, and like, I had been talking to Ashikai at one point, and she was like explaining that to me as well. But like, no, I've never seen it. But maybe I'll have to. Cries, but I love her. I want the Fire Punch lady. Yeah, she's really cool. I like her character. But like, there's no point in pulling for her, for me at least. Like I'm saving. I think I might pull Baiju though. I was gonna save until Fontaine, but then they dropped Baiju because honestly I forgot about Baiju. It's been so long since he was debuted as like a character. So it kind of feels unreal that he's here now. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up.
The wind knows me.
I'm talking. Anyway, let's go to the desert before we get booted out here. As you can see, I haven't really explored everything. Like, there's a lot I have not done. I haven't even found that secret room with like Ormaz's his little murals. I have not. Hello, Harubi Rokusan. How you doing? You're just gonna Sino? Sakuya? Cool. He's a cool character. Are there chests here? I'm looking for like stuff that I haven't done. There's one. Let's go up here. So y'all think they messed up Dia's kit, and that's why people won't pull? In addition to the standard banner stuff. Interesting. I mean, couldn't they just fix her? It kind of feels like they're just throwing in like intentionally making her like a filler character almost. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Care for a dance.
Oh god, I'm dying. And it's because I'm looking at comments.
Illusion shattered.
Wait, hold on, y'all.
To oblivion.
I'm going, oh, I'm pulling for Kave. I am pulling for Kave, yes. I am, I don't care how many primos it takes. I want to C6 him, and I want to pair him with Alhaitham. What do I fucking... Okay, let's put it into this. Because I need a good helmet for Alhaitham. I think that being mysterious is a perfect fit for the land of goddess, which has power over dreams. Yes. Yeah. Dory's backstory is the most American thing I've ever heard. Yeah, sounds like it. You know what? I agree. Well, when they made Tignari standard, it made sense because Dendro. Yeah, it made sense in his case. I just don't understand it for Dia. But then we don't have any Geo 5-star in standard. Though Ningguang was supposed to be 5-star. Yeah, I'm just very confused. First time I'll actually pull on a banner for just a 4-star. I'm sorry. Exactly. Exactly. I need him. They could have easily made him a 5-star. Easily. And people would have pulled like nobody's business. Also, I'm extremely behind on comments. I'm so sorry. What the fuck is going on in Natlan and why haven't we met anyone from there? Yeah, it's kind of weird. The only, like, solid... I mean, we've gotten, like, some information, right? Like, about the bathhouses, like, being inspired by Natlan or something, like in Inazuma. That one bathhouse, I think there's a comment about that. And then there's other little stuff. And then all we know about them is, like, from the manga. Because Vanessa's tribe is from Natlan. And then Bennett might be from Natlan. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, there's like a hot spring bath in Inazuma and they like talk about how something about Natlan being like an inspiration for it or something. Or maybe they get the water from there. I don't fucking know. Oh. Dendroculus.
One with nature.
And there we go. Oh, look, it's Celestia. It looks so different from here. I can't wait to go there. Yeah, inspired by geysers in Natlan. Yeah, something like that. Do I read the Genshin lore subreddit? I feel like I've seen some stuff, but no. I don't even have a Reddit account, y'all. That is how disconnected I am from, like, everything. Hello, Tea with Lee. How you doing? You just got here. I can't wait for the update either. It's gonna be good. We gonna get lots of lore shit. Where's the thing I came up here for? Oh, there it is. Is the Mare Javari in Natlan? Kind of ashamed, but I still don't understand what kind of place that is. So I kind of assume it's somewhere close to Mondstadt, but also it might border like Mondstadt and Natlan, maybe. I only say Mondstadt because Mondstadt is like where we get messages about the Mayor Javari. It's been mentioned in Mondstadt a couple times, like with what's his face? What is his name? Charlie? Charles? Y'all, what is that dude's name? The dude that took the other dude's name. Because his friend died in the Mayor Javari. I cannot remember his name. Stanley, thank you. I said Charlie, Charles, oh my gosh.
Wind strike.
Yeah, Stanley, sorry.
Now you shall perish.
Oh, poor Stanley. About lore, what do you think is the reason to close the Traveler into that? I've heard once the Sustainer did this to weaken the Traveler with erosion. I don't know, because it's really weird.
I have
Because it's just kind of like, well, why didn't you just kick them out? Like, why didn't you just, like, kick them out? A personal theory of mine is that she just wanted to harvest their light, maybe? I don't know. I really don't know. Close enough. Maybe. Charlie and Stanley? I mean, it's... sure. Nahida mentions the Mayor Javari in her voice lines, and his name... Yeah, like... I don't know what's going on with the Mayor Javari. And then, like, the lore behind it, which might be associated with the freaking Lava Walker. You guys have read that lore artifact set, right? How he like wore a crown and like walked in a bunch of fire or something over and over until he like ended up becoming ashes or something. It's really weird. If erosion is the case, then there's no signs of erosions on the Traveler. We only got sealed. We have no signs of the Traveler getting aged too. Well... yeah, I don't know. It's very possible, like... it's very possible the Travelers are experiencing some kind of erosion. Because, like, it's still... their memories still could have been tampered with in some way, right?
Who says there
I
are
don't know.
benefits to a life of wandering?
I don't know. The lava wakusi, oh my god. Oh my god. The more I hear about the Sustainer, the more similarities I make in my head with the Master of Masters from Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, a little bit. Though the Master of Masters is super snarky. I love him, by the way. I can't wait for him to be a boss. What? Oh, I need one of those little thingies, don't I? Where the fuck do I get that? Probably from that swirling vortex of sand.
Time to go.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the erosion thing. It's very possible though. I know we were gonna talk about 3.5, but I feel like we barely did. So like,
teamwork is dreamwork.
what do y'all think about what's his face? Calibert. The dude that supposedly has like a huge role in this Archon quest.
To my face.
Cause like,
Time to go.
if you look up the stuff about him, He's like the son of like this king or whatever, or something about it.
Follow the wind.
His father like, didn't his father like fake his death or some shit? I don't fucking know. I don't even remember. It's really sus. But he's like a prince or something who becomes a king or something. You think he's connected to Kaeya? Very possibly. Roosevelt, hello. Roosevelt. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. This is another person you guys should check out. Their lore videos are excellent. Ah, crap. Well, time's up. Actually, hold on, before we leave, because I was just gonna log off after the freaking thing was over. I kind of want to watch the trailer, so let's do that. But yes, check out Roosevelt's channel. She's like really good. Do it. Do it. My personal favorite is about her video about Vera's melancholy. So good. So good. Where am I going? What am I looking for? Oh, trailer. Version 3.5 trailer. Yes, you. Wait, I said I had video proof of Paimon making Sealy noises. I do. Did you want to see that? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna have to dig into my video files for that, though. For like the Morn. Where's the Morn stuff? Okay, Kale Sumeru. Maybe I can find it real quick. Both you. I was worried Vera's melancholy would be too all over the place. No, it wasn't. It was. I think you did a good job to explain a book that's like somewhat confusing. Okay, I think I found it.
One moment, please.
I don't know how I'm gonna show this though. Like on stream. Like, hold on. Let me see if I can. Give me a second. Give me a second. Where? Okay. Can y'all? No, I'm assuming you can't see that. Okay. Oh God, okay. Can you see this? Can you see this? Wait, hold on. Let me X out of this, because this is making noise. Are you looking forward to Windbloom? Yes. Windbloom means more Mondstadt lore. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Wait, hold on. No, don't do this to me. Why are you doing this? It's stuck. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me fix this. It's gonna be a black screen for a second. What if Onion was also Istaroth? Secretly, maybe. Onion is the real primordial one? Well, maybe Istaroth is the real primordial one. We don't know, do we? Maybe she's not just a shade. Alright, I want y'all to listen closely to this. Let me pull it back up. All right, now everybody, just pay attention, pay close attention. You hear that?
Sumeru City. We finally made it.
Did y'all hear that?
Oh.
Listen close. That's literally the sound that Sealies make.
Sumeru City. Sumeru City.
I don't know, this like stood out to me when I first watched this scene, and I'm just like, that's the sound that Sealies make. It's like, yeah, it's like super light. I'm not crazy, y'all. Maybe I am. Maybe that's copium, I don't know. But it sounds like the Sealy sounds to me. Just a little bit. But anyway, let's watch the trailer. Ooh, I kind of hear it, but yeah. Ew, the sound design in the game, in this game, is wild. Yeah. You are, but not with this. Yeah, I'm crazy, but like, I don't think I'm crazy about that. But it sounds a little bit like it. Wait, I wish maybe we can find a video of it.
Oh, dear creature. Why do you bow down? For fear of the unknown?
Ooh. Who y'all think the hilly churls are bowing down to? Like, who is this? Is this like an Abyss Lector? Is this that Charibert person? Or is it someone else? Also, where the fuck are we? Is this in the chasm? I would assume this is in the chasm because the chasm has the same structures as Enkanomiya, right? But it's closer to Sumeru, which is where this is happening. So I'm assuming this is like somewhere near the chasm. Or it's in like a completely different place, but also in Sumeru. Who knows? Maybe a Lector? Maybe the purple crystal thing? Ooh. The purple crystal. Maybe. That thing is sus, by the way. I have no idea who this mysterious voice is, but I'm obsessed with him already. Yeah. Me too. Our sister, maybe. I hope we meet our sister at some point. Like soon. We haven't seen her in forever. A Lector who is possibly Caribert. I always assumed Caribert was the Lector. Possibly, yeah. Interesting. Who's the hilly churl in the trailer? Yeah, I don't know who the hilly churl is that's having like an identity crisis. I have no idea who that is.
I've never seen anything like.
Who the fuck is this? Okay, so this is someone from Conria. I'm assuming. The reason I say that is because, like, look at this. Doesn't that kind of look like their emblem? Like, right here? And then he has, like, designs of, like, the same Celtic knotting that you can find on domains. And also, like, literally all throughout Enkanomiya and structures like that. Their Abyss Cryolector. Oh. Yeah, he has the Conrian star on his shoulder. That is their emblem, yeah. Oh, that man is praying in the same pose that the man praying to the corrupted animal. That's interesting. I didn't really realize that. Yeah, he kind of is, isn't he? That's really sus. I hope the dude they're bowing to is not an NPC. We'll see. Yeah, this is literally like Conrian clothes. But interesting that he's not corrupted. Or, I mean, he could be, because we know that like Abysslings, Lectors, Heralds, whatever the fuck, can take on different forms. Because Enjo did, right? So for all we know, this could be like a Lector, like you guys are saying. He equals the Crier Lector. He equals Caribert, probably. Yeah, that sounds logical. This is a minor thing, but it's Herald because it's melee, not Lector. Gotcha. I didn't know. I honestly did not know what the distinction was. But that makes sense since the Lector is like Electro, isn't it? And is a catalyst user. That makes sense. And then the other one is Pyro, right? And it's also a catalyst. Okay, that does make sense. Interesting. That's Kaeya's dad. Oh God. Are we meeting him? For the first time? Is this gonna be a family reunion?
Seen anything like this in all my life. What in the world does this place conceal?
You have a troubled look on your face.
Wait, okay, there's the crystal. What do y'all think this is? Meeting Kaeya's parents. I'd love to meet his mother. We haven't heard shit about his mom. That's kind of what I want to hear about. I want to hear about his mama. I don't know, but you want to eat it. Oh God. DAIN ends up being his dad. Now that would be a that would be a plot twist. The Marana possibly looks like Abyss stuff. Maybe some sealed Abyss being. Possibly. You have no clue. It's giving corrupted Venti statue. Yeah, that's true, because on the upside down statue of the 7, there was that purple orb, right? And it's kind of the same color. King Deshret. That's interesting. Why King Deshret? Wait a minute. But that, what? I don't know. Why King Deshret? Onion, could it be connected to the upside down statue? Possibly. A god's heart or something, like the illuminated crystal from Heart's Desire. That's interesting. Okay, so then like it could be like King Deshret's remains or something? You were joking. Okay, but now I'm like seriously thinking about this. Onion, can I zoom in a bit? How do I do that? Wait, let's just go full screen. But I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Oh, like the heart of Nibirius. Possibly. I'd love to learn more about connections between Conria and the Aranara or Jin. That would be interesting. There was a theory I saw that pointed out a purple crystal in the Ruka Devata scene. Ooh, wait a minute. Do you mean like, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm assuming you mean Lost Legacies in the Sand. Okay. Is it when he like...
It would forever.
Okay, wow, that's kind of creepy. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Let's look at it. This? Because like this is kind of, sort of like the Conrian star. Though this has 10 points, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it does look similar, and the coloring.
Like this world. In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal...
You don't think... Wait, is the Abyss Order doing something with Deshret? Which would make sense because Deshret is connected to forbidden knowledge and therefore the Abyss. Whoever made that theory is smart. Spheric Waves, you're smart. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Roosevelt, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now just wait a damn minute. And he's going into the ground.
Chose to sacrifice himself.
And then we couldn't find his body during the quest. What is it called? The Golden Slumber stuff, right? We could never find his body. It was like not in the sarcophagus. If he even had like a physical form that he left behind. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, why am I believing this now? I mean, they tried to use Corrupted Valen and tried to chain up Andreas and also wanted to use a Sile Tentacle, so you're right. There is a precedence for them using gods as weapons. Okay, now I believe this theory. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm embracing the crack. I am now with the crack. And didn't we see a broken mirror that was in Sumeru? Yeah, it was like, I think it's like directly after this part actually. With the Hilly Churro like taking off the mask. Yeah, it's like directly after this part. I want this to be true too. Whoever made this theory, that's so smart. That is a really good catch. I mean, in the mausoleum, he left his body, but his intelligence is somewhere else. So maybe his intelligence is in the crystal. And like, it would make sense that he had to be like sealed away in a sense because he was affected by the forbidden knowledge. Maybe he's like containing it somehow, like perpetually or something. And he was chained down here. But it's interesting that he was chained away in ruins. Listen to me talk like this is actually true. I mean, I'm all with this theory, but it's interesting that he would be chained down in like an Enkonomian / chasm looking place because, so like in the chasm, we found that fountain that was like relieving the effects, not relieving, but like easing the pain that Hilly Churls and like DAIN felt, and we know that they're cursed, and that may have something to do with forbidden knowledge. So maybe this was the perfect place to contain him. Oh gosh. I'm with the crack. Raiden also talks about perpetual youth or something. Yeah, interesting. It's interesting. I'm interested to see if DAIN's words from his last quest comes back. DAIN told us to choose a side, and this quest is going to be us. Yeah, so I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. If that's going to go anywhere. Because he did warn us. He was like, you're right. He was like, you need to choose a side. By the way, do we know where Conria is? No? Somewhere underground? I'm assuming somewhere near Mondstadt, though. I'm assuming that because if you guys remember the We Will Be Reunited trailer that they came out with before the game came out, Lumine is like running through something that looks similar to the Spiral Abyss, but then she emerges in what is presumably Conria, or like the exposed ruins of Conria. I'm not quite sure where she is, but I kind of assume Conria is somewhere near Mondstadt. That's just my personal opinion. Like how Ruka Devata had to be erased, he locked himself in a crystal to maybe not get rid of it, but to slow down the corruption. Yeah, possibly. I would say directly under Cider Lake. That would be interesting. No, Conria is stated to be underground, but is close to Sumeru, and there's a gate to the abyss in Snezhnaya where Child falls. Wait, where is it stated that it's close to Sumeru, though? I always thought that part was Mondstadt. I never saw it as Conria. And that's possible too. Like, she could have emerged from the Spiral Abyss into like the rest of Teyvat to see like... I don't know though. I don't know. Because that visual matches up with the visual that we get from A when she's talking about the heavenly principles destroying Conria. It might be below all of Teyvat. The monsters showed up everywhere. Yeah, like, because they also had access to Enkanomiya. And this is like, we're talking thousands of years ago. So they clearly must have a way to get around everywhere. Crack theory, if the crystal is Deshret, then the 3 hilly churls bowing down are his 3 priests. Oh my god, that would be fucking hilarious. The Ibis King, the Crocodile King, and... what the fuck was the other one? Shit, what was the other one? You know what I'm talking about. Maybe they were using teleport waypoints. That is also possible. Like, they knew its function, so they used it. That's very possible. And there are teleport waypoints in Enkanomiya, right? So that makes me think the unified civilization knew how to use it, obviously. They probably built them. And we know Conria has similar structures, at least according to Dainsleif, to the chasm and therefore Enkanomiya. So it's likely, yeah, they did know how to use teleport waypoints. That makes sense. What if Conria is just like all under Teyvat, like everywhere? That's possible. I wonder if Teyvat is upside down. That is also possible because we're getting like a lot of vibes that we're like in an upside down world or something. And maybe the abyss is actually the surface of the planet we're on. Who knows? Yeah, when we fall into the abyss, we're actually going up. I'd say that's a good idea. The Conria being close to Sumeru was said in Archon Quest when we help a girl who was waiting for her master or older friend to come back from abyss exploration. Okay. Interesting. A thought, maybe Conria is a dispersed country that isn't centralized and is connected via their portal network. Parts of Conria could be under every nation in pieces. That would be super interesting. Oh, you mean Nahida's story quest. Interesting. Okay, y'all. Let's continue with this. So I believe this crack Deshret theory. I'm like all for it.
What happened?
Okay, there's the broken mirror. And this is Gandharvaville, I'm guessing.
I can't take it.
I really want to see, like, are we actually going to see a Hilly Churl's face or lack thereof? Like, what if they just have, like, a smooth skin? That would be so eerie.
I think that he might have seen you.
Fate has not granted you the right to enter this place.
Ooh. Wait, does that voice match up with... But then again, we don't know if that's actually the Abyss Lector talking. It sounds like it, though. Or, excuse me, the Abyss Herald talking. But does that match up with the voice at the beginning?
The fear of the unknown.
It...
Granted you the right to enter this place.
That does not match. Also, Sumeru has the most ruins that are named after Conria. This is true. DAIN might have broken the mirror. Yeah, who is he? Who is the he? Yeah, that was Ether. Approaching the broken mirror.
Granted you the right to enter this place.
The greatest
should never live to remember their fall.
Let's get it on!
Dehya is so cool. What they're doing to her is a crime.
You're dead meat!
Oh, she's so cool.
I'll make every effort to navigate as safely.
Oh god, it's the Chocobo boy. Is anyone pulling for him? Also, I did not expect to get him this soon. For some reason, I thought he would just pop up later. I don't know why. The Herald talks about fate has not allowed you to enter. Does that mean something will come in contact with the Traveler? Maybe. Their voices could change, that is true, because we don't know what Enjo sounded like as a human. And he presumably sounded different. Mika. You're not Noya. Mika is so silly. Dehya gave me the bluest of blue balls, man. Feels bad. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But like I said, if you like her, pull her. Pull for her, my guy. True God, you're pulling for Mika, 100%. If only they gave her the same love they gave to Hu Tao. Wouldn't that be nice? That's the dream. Because everybody loves Hu Tao. He's adorable, but I'm saving for Venti constellations. Okay. Harubi, you're doing it. Cool. Lux, you're going to get him for your Eula. Hero, you need Ayaka. I wonder if he's going to be synergistic with... Synergistic? Is that a fucking word? Yes, I think it is. I wonder if he's going to have synergy with Ayaka or Eula or any of those other characters. Silvar, everybody skipping Dehya, please lend me your stash of copium. I'm gonna wish those of you that are pulling for Dehya the best of luck. Nuno, you don't like Hu Tao. Okay, well, Nuno doesn't like Hu Tao. Oh, this is a delayed comment, but we did hear Enjo's human voice in that April Fool's video they posted, like, last year. Oh. Oh, the one that was, like, they were, like, cloth or whatever the fuck. It was, like, stop motion. I remember that. Synergistic. Thank you, Magikarp. Onion having a brain fart trying to question a word. Yeah. With his magical girl transformation. Yeah, that was a cute video. Oh, could it be the hilly churro with the purple aura isn't allowed to enter the place in the trailer? Maybe. They might have been talking to the Traveler, though. I don't fucking know. All right, let's continue.
And report intel on the enemy. Precision strike.
He's adorable. I'll give Mika that. He is pretty adorable. Okay, I'm super excited for this because I have just been waiting for Kale to go back to Mondstadt and interact with Amber. So this Windbloom's gonna be good. I have a feeling. Hi, I'm just tuning in. Hello, Quarter Turn. So sorry if you already talked about this, but have you seen Wei's last video with an interesting theory about Zhongli's identity? Yes, I saw it, where he talks about Zhongli being a descender, possibly. He had good points. Especially like the point about Zhongli's age and then the age of the earth that's mentioned in the Bible. So the earth is supposedly 6,000 years old. And Zhongli happens to be 6,000 years old. So it implies that he was at least here at the creation of the world when the primordial one came, possibly. But no, yeah, Wei's theory about that was really good. It was really interesting. I'm pulling for Kale on my second account though. Oh, good luck. I wonder if Mika will comment on their encounter with Capitano. I hope so. I hope we get more Fatui shit soon. Like really soon. Hopefully. Because I have an idea about them after I was doing like research and stuff for like my videos. I realized that the Harbingers follow a certain pattern. At least like 5 of them do. And they're like really similar to certain other characters that I've already talked about one. I already talked about Arlecchino being like a parallel to Venti, but it's more than just him. And then of course Bina being like a parallel to the Moon Sisters and Sealy and everything. Zhongli being Geo Dragon would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yes. I was wondering if Azhdaha was like the new generation of the 7 Sovereigns, the Geo one. My theory on Zhongli is that he was one of the dragons that fought the Primordial one, but he decided to form a contract instead of fighting him. That would be very, very interesting. Because he does have, like, his Exuvia was a dragon, wasn't it? Alice and Venti seem to be besties, which is sus in and of itself. We already know Venti and Alice, like, you know, they get along. Because she gave him the Dodoko phone during the Golden Apple Archipelago quest. He's the one that gave it to us. And he also called her an unaging mage. It seems like their relationship is more than what it seems. But that's also sus because he's also related to another fucking witch, Lisa the librarian. And he was doing stuff for her as well. I feel like he's involved with the Hexenzirkel in some way. I know Lisa's not a part of it, but she is a witch. And likely knows about it. I feel like he's involved with the Hexenzirkel. The new wings might have some info on Alice, but I'm not sure. I have not checked yet. Ooh, I'll have to check when we get back into the game. Venti is just a big simp. Venti gets around. Maria, Zhongli is a half Qilin and Adeptus. Yes. Wait, he's half Qilin? Interesting. Mona is also there in Mondstadt too. That's true. It's like Mondstadt is a hub for the Hexenzirkel. And then Albedo, Rhine-daughter, who might also be a Hexenzirkel member, is also associated with fucking Mondstadt. Mondstadt is just so fucking sus. And then Istaroth, the connection between Istaroth and the fact that Hexenzirkel does Irminsul expeditions and shit like that. And Mona's all about fate and stuff. And ugh. It's all coming together. Yeah, everything goes back to Mondstadt at some point. At some point. I have to go, but it was super awesome to catch an Onion stream. Happy 3.5, everyone. Okay, bye, Roosevelt. Again, y'all go check out her channel. She's really good. Go check out her channel. It's where they have their club meetings. Probably. Wait, okay, let's keep going.
Why is this humble windmill such a great view?
I mean, it's understandable. It must have been a long time since you last came to Mondstadt.
Because it is the true great Vayu Viastra.
I'm like so happy that Sino and Tignari are here. I don't know why, but I'm glad there are other characters from other regions coming here.
That's it. Think you've ruined Sumeru's reputation in Mondstadt beyond all hope of repair.
Oh, look at Paimon trying to blow the dandelion. Oh, by the way, I saw people saying that this is Ying-Er and Timaeus, which is adorable. That'd be super cute. I ship them. Venti being a wind spirit made me think, what if he is like the Jinn of Nabu Malikata, but he is one of the 1,000 wind spirits of Istaroth? That's possible too. Yeah, I'm like feeling like Venti is like partially a Seelie or like half Seelie or something like that. And he might be what the Jinn were to the goddess of flowers to Istaroth, you know? But I have many thoughts on that I'm not going to share. Not right now. What do y'all think of these mini games? Are y'all usually interested in the mini games? And be honest. Ooh, that's a pretty photo. That's so cute, Venti. Boring. Venti and the Sealer are 100% connected. Oh, 1000%. Primos. Yeah, pretty much. Ying Air going cougar for Timaeus. Wait, how old is Timaeus and how old is Ying Air? You're looking forward to the minigames, Gyan Nunez? Zankoku, you're not really interested, just the exploration. Onion, also, Venti drip marketing title. Oh, wow. Is the true feelings of the prodigal son. It's really sus to me. Yes, we are going to talk about that line because it's extremely telling about Venti. Oh, I can't. Oh, we got to get through so much, though, before I can talk about Venti. I like them, but it can depend on what it is. Yeah, I like most of the minigames. Yes, like, most of them are cute. Some of them I feel like are janky. But I actually think this one might be fun. The little maze thingy. Oh, this is so cute. And then we got the rhythm game. Onion, do you think Venti is the same as Rukkhadevata? Because whenever they both said to use powers, they also said to rest after that. Well, here's the thing. Venti says in a voice line that his ballads are like Nahida's power over dreams, which is really sus because Nahida also has a bunch of moon stuff going on with her and possible Istaroth connections. So I do think they're probably a lot more similar than we think. Not really, but looking forward to the music game. Should be fun. Rhythm games. Oh, and then the Pokemon thing is back, right? Or what is this? Fungus Mechanicus. Oh no. What the fuck? I don't know if I'm gonna be interested in that one. Venti is sus because he's god of death. Here's the thing about being a god of death. The Moon Sisters also might be goddesses of death if they are connected to Irminsul in some way, because Irminsul kind of is what oversees the cycle of life and death in Teyvat. Venti's god form has more sun symbolism than moon. Yes. But here's the thing. And I talked about it in part 1.5 about the Moon Sisters being like doves. And Venti has like a shit ton of bird vibes, especially like doves. He's depicted with doves on the manga cover. He's depicted with doves in his character demo, if I'm not mistaken. I know the game calls them pigeons, but fucking pigeons and doves are technically the same bird. So I'm going to consider them doves. I think pigeons are just like slightly bigger. But he's constantly depicted with all this bird imagery as well. And then, of course, Cecilia's, which look like fucking triquetras. So there's that. One of the gods in his region, Andreas, is also connected to the moon. Because, well, number one, wolves howling at the moon, so they kind of have that association. But it's also theorized that Andreas got his powers from the first Seelie, or a Seelie. Yes, and the three shades were moons, fourth is Venti. Seeming like that, isn't it? That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But I'm also very conflicted when it comes to Venti. His wings and chest emblem are like a shining star. And he's got a sun, like, around his statue as well. And then, of course, there's the whole gateway to Celestia thing, which is engraved on his statue. And Celestia has been depicted with the sun a few times, like in ancient murals. And then if you want to consider the kingdom in the Gnostic chorus as Celestia, then there's another sun depiction. He's just like got the sun and the moon around him. It's just all really sus. Like, what if he's just a mixture of both? And Venti can speak Latin for some reason. Yeah. Why does Venti say he remembers us in his greeting voice line? So here's what I want to point out about Venti. A lot of people think, or like there's a theory out there rather, I'll say, that we're in like a time loop, and that's why he says like he remembers us, but we don't remember him. But here's the thing. It doesn't even have to be that. Because we have no idea what Venti actually looks like, other than like his elf form. We have no idea if he had a form before that, and we don't know what that looks like. His voice could be different. His appearance is obviously different. So then, of course, the travelers wouldn't really recognize him. Right? There's a place where you can see Celestia in front of the moon. I think it's like that in the manga, too. Maybe Venti is an envoy of the Shades. That's why he has both representations. It's possible. I have a theory about the twins. You see that Lumine is abyss power and us is kind of light? Yeah, like Lumine has like moon imagery almost. And then Ether has like more overt sun vibes. Obviously both of them have sun vibes, but Lumine is like more representative of nighttime. She's more like the evening star, if you want to call it that. Whereas Ether's like the morning star. But they're technically the same fucking thing, so. I'm convinced Barbados and Decarabian were both members of the Thousand Whims who served or are pieces of Istaroth. Interesting. I like the theory. Maybe that text under his statue is more of a metaphor, and it's about reaching godhood at the end of life. After all, he sold us info about allogenes. That's possible, but I do think we are gonna go to Celestia when we go back to Mondstadt. My reasoning has to do with Enkanomiya, but I'm not elaborating on that though. Lumine has light in her no-powered form, but Ether doesn't, which is weird. That's weird. Venti also says something along the lines that anyone with a vision can ascend into Celestia, and it's also weird that Nahida said the Heavenly Principles has been quiet since Conria. Yeah, like, I imagine the Heavenly Principles is more like a, she only acts when she has to. Like, when the Heavenly Principles are being breached. Anything else is like the Archon's responsibility. But we're going to talk about that in my upcoming video. Yeah, and remember the sus conversation at the end of the Mondstadt Archon quest with Paimon saying that Venti can take on any form. It's so weird. That's an interesting point because we just learned like the Jinn, which are inherently tied to the moon because they're basically the descendants of the Seelie. They can also take on different forms, because like Liloupar was talking about taking on the form of Adepti and like a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's very sus. Like the machine in Enkanomiya. Yeah, the Dainichi Mikoshi. I'm not gonna elaborate, but I think because of that quest, I do think that Mondstadt is gonna be the place we go to Celestia from. The parallels between the twins in Zhongli and Guizhong are really interesting. Yeah, because Zhongli has a whole bunch of ether vibes, and Guizhong has like Lumine vibes in terms of like her hair. And Zhongli also has like the same kind of one earring that ether has. And I can explain that connection too, but that's part of a theory that I have. When you update the client, Lumine sits on the fountain, during the night, and ether during the day. The devs clearly did not put them like that because they felt like it. Yeah, that's definitely representative of something. Pixie, Istaroth and Venti connections will forever be suspicious. Yep, basically. We will continue to go in circles about it because, just something new comes up about Venti that's super sus. There's no shortage of sussiness when it comes to him and his connections with Istaroth. Well, if you combine the 7 colors of the rainbow in a physical spectrum, it makes black. But if you do it in a void spectrum, it becomes white. Interesting. That's interesting. That's actually really cool. If they made it like, oh, the Abyss Twin has... That's actually really cool. That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Wasn't the original inscription on the monster? So that is a point to mention, because the statue of Venti, technically that's not the first one that was there. And like the other inscription said something else, which we don't know what it said. But that is a good point. Yes, Venti is collecting souls via wind, and maybe dead people with visions are going to Celestia. Maybe. On that note of dead people and going to Celestia, do you guys remember Tsurumi Island? And after you finish like everything there and you clear out the fog, you can talk to all the after images and the boatman who's like trying to ferry souls into some place. He talks about going past like this cypress tree, like silver cypress tree, but then at the end it turns into golden oak tree or something like that. And he was boarding the people on a silver skiff. He was described as like this golden man. I feel like that's like the best example we have of like the process of life and death in terms of its relation to Celestia. Because it sounded like those souls were going to Celestia for something. And if you talk to, I think it's the grandmother, she basically says like this Ainu, if you guys don't know, the Ainu people in Japan, they're like this indigenous group. A lot of things on Tsurumi Island is based on the Ainu culture. But basically she talks about like going up, rocking back and forth in these cradles, which is a reference to the nursery rhyme. But then she talks about becoming like motes of light and then becoming the dreams of the children of the world. And then, yes, the lady in the Golden Hall. It's all super sus. We're going to talk about the process of life and death in a video, because I've been wanting to do a video on that for a while. Zhongli and Guizhong's outfits match Ether and Lumine's outfits fairly closely. More so Zhongli and Ether, though. Yeah, it's like, it's definitely intentional, I'll say that. I think the twins both have at least a connection to Feini somehow. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're feeding the sustainer. It's possible. I remember like in one of the dev interviews, they were talking about how humans have a higher purpose than even the Adepti. And this world seems to be powered, like dreams seem to have power in this world, right? So it's like, what if they're using humans to sustain the world itself? Like using humans as a power source to sustain the world. Hu Tao equals boatman, basically, for Liyue. Yeah, on the golden chariot into the silver palace. Yeah, it's like, there was like a lot of sus things said on Tsurumi Island. The way Hu Tao explains the process of death and the passing of souls is different from what we have learned so far. Yeah. But like, it still like goes with the ley lines and everything. Dreams seem to be an important thing across all of MiHoYo games. Yeah. Especially with like what's going on right now in Honkai Impact. Like in the Sumeru Samsara, kinda, yeah. Like a giant energy farm. That's kind of like what I've been thinking as far as like what humans might be used for. But then again, if like all humans are used for that, I don't know what vision wielders are used for. Right? Like what the fuck are they using them for? What if Teyvat is just a soul farm or something like that? Possibly. I don't know, anything is viable in my opinion. Dreams, memories, and trees. Hoyoverse's main themes. And then also like clones. Or like, not even like clones, but like just duality in general is like a huge theme. They could be using them as anchoring points, possibly. What if visions are actually souls? Interesting. That's an interesting thought. I want more information on the stars on outfits. So many characters have these galaxies on their clothing. I want to know if it symbolizes something. For example, Guizhong and Dainsla. Yeah, like even the Sustainer like has a whole bunch of star imagery too. Like even like the little energy thing that she uses to block the Traveler's swords, like when you're choosing to play Ether or Lumine, that's even in a diamond shape. In like a star shape. I don't know though. Cause like Ether and Lumine are stars, sure, but like it's almost like everybody is a star. Cause everybody has constellations, and then we wish. When we're wishing upon a star, and then we're getting people. So it's like everybody is a star. Okay, now I'm just rambling. I'm so sorry. And it seems like the ghosts from A's story quest can use their visions, despite being dead and from the ley lines. Yeah. I think that's just because like the ley lines record everything. And that includes visions, but also it's not just memories in the ley lines, it's also elemental energy. So it makes sense that even like after images would be able to use elemental abilities. Didn't Nahida say the vision wielders see the world differently? Think so. Like in one of her voice lines or something? Or like one of her quests? Characters in Genshin's with star space on their outfits going through their 2012 Tumblr phase when everybody had galaxy clothes. I mean, really though. Tomo possible return? I hope we get like Leyline Tomo. Or something regarding him. Maybe if visions are souls, it has something to do with how constellations work. It's possible. Liyue has ghosts, right? So what stopped them from crossing over with the Golden Man? I don't know, like if you have... What's interesting about ghosts is that they're kind of like Archon residue, in that it's like these ghosts are just like lingering because they have attachments to the world that are like unfinished business or something. I don't know though. And I don't know why the boatman was so eager to get the Tsurumi Island people on that boat to the afterlife. Like, what makes them special? The one whose stars are gods and travelers because their constellations show them, and the rest are just getting powers from stars. Interesting. Okay. If ley lines are a coalescence of memories, are they raw dream energy? Possibly. Hence the enemies that spawn only being what we've fought before. If so, was Albedo made using the ley lines or no? I think the art of Kemiya does use ley lines in some way. Like, it makes sense that Daughter might have used data from Irminsul or the ley lines. Well, technically the ley lines are Irminsul, so whatever. But yeah, data from the ley lines and used it to construct Albedo. But it's weird because Albedo has like a lot of traveler motifs and like references to the sun. And it's almost like she tried to recreate what Ether and Lumine are. But she kind of didn't succeed, right? I don't know. I think Ashikai has talked about this before too. But I don't know. Yeah, like especially in his constellation with him being born from the sun. Onion, what if the lady in the Golden Hall is behind on her schedule? So the people on Tsurumi Island were next when she became active again. I mean, it's possible. I don't know. It's really sus because it's like, what gives them priority over like everybody else? The parlor is basically the boatman in Liyue. Basically. Okay, so then is there... And then we know in Mondstadt, the wind carries souls, right? And then Venti is kind of like a god of death. So is he the boatman? And then Sumeru has an Archon who literally is from Irminsul, which is like the cycle of death, life and death. So maybe there's something with that. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, maybe like each region has its own boatman, so to speak. Because Tsurumi was windless because of the fog, yes, and like Stanley's soul, which was stuck in the Mare Javari. That's why people's souls stayed there. That makes sense. But I don't know if Tsurumi Island was windless, like completely windless. Oh, in the fog there was no sounds. So they were, yeah, it seemed like they were all trapped. You're right. And then we could only see the souls after we cleared the fog. Because the Thunderbird kept everything going in like a repetitive cycle. That's interesting. That's an interesting point. Yo, what is happening? Is Tevat just the afterlife? I mean, it could be. Could be a dream. And the real people are like sleeping somewhere. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Tevat. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's so many different things that could be like true. It could be fucking Project Arc. It could all be a simulation. Everybody could be dead. I don't fucking know. Albedo and Durin probably foreshadow what happens to the traveler and their sibling, which could be depressing. That would be very depressing. It surprised me that you can hear the lullaby from the night loading screen when you're in Storm Terror's lair. Has that always been a thing and I'm just late to the party? I haven't noticed. But it might have always been a thing. Because again, like, Mondstadt is just all about moon shit. And the opening music and the opening screen or whatever is related to, like, possibly the Moon Sisters. Because one of the songs is called Aria, right? Or, like, something like that. Oh, Dream Aria. By the way, who are the Descenders that are unaccounted for? There's like 4 or 5. So here's one of the things that I want people to also take note of. When it comes to Descenders. So Nahida describes Descenders as beings that do not belong to Tevat. Now you could say, oh, they're not from Tevat, but you could also interpret that as you could also oh my goodness, I'm getting tongue-tied. You could also interpret that as the world literally having possession over a person. And I don't know how like the world comes to have a sway on you or a hold on you or possession over you. Maybe after being in the world for a certain amount of time, Irminsul is able to record you. I don't freaking know. But I say that because of the conflicting information that we have with like the Abyss sibling is not a descender, but we know that she was summoned or he was summoned into the world. I feel like because of that, we have to consider being from outside of Teyvat is not necessarily enough to make you a descender. That's what I'm thinking right now. And by descender, I mean descender as the Fatui are defining it, because we have to remember this information came from the Fatui. So they're defining all of these terms. Right, it's also from the Fatuis too, so we have to remember that. We were never told how many descenders there are total, only that Traveler was the fourth, not that he was the last. So that's a good point too. There could be more, and I think there definitely are more, because if you remember when the war with the Second Throne happened, thanks to the Flowers of Paradise Lost artifact set, we now know there were multiple invaders because it used plural. It said invaders came from beyond the firmament. So there's definitely more than 4. Or rather, there's a huge potential that there's more than 4. What if our own memories as the Traveler are what? Like fabricated? Are fake? Are messed with? I don't know. Dottore also says the Archons are bound to answer those who ask them. Yeah, I remember that, and that reminded me of Vera's melancholy, because she kind of talks about a world where the gods answer any and all questions, or rather they grant all wishes. But I also found that very similar to the Jinn, because genies and everything are supposed to grant wishes and everything like that. And the Archons are based on, demons from the Ars Goetia, but these demons were captured by King Solomon and forced into his servitude. So were the Jinn, right? So I've always thought like the Jinn and then the gods are similar, or rather the gods / Archons and the Seelie are similar, because they both play the same role as well, the same function. It's like the gods and Archons replace the Seelie in terms of guiding humanity and everything. Genshin Impact lore, it's like questioning reality itself, basically. Demons are evil jinns. And right, yeah, so like there's already that conflation as well, which kind of makes me wonder if like gods and Archons are like somewhat Seelies, but like degraded forms of Seelies. I don't fucking know, y'all. I think Ashikai said all Seelie would be considered gods. Yeah, like Seelies can be considered gods, just like Adeptis can be considered gods. But that doesn't mean all gods are Seelie, right? Or all gods are Adepti. But at the same time, what's really the difference? What if, since the Mondstadt quest is considered a prologue and not an actual chapter, we end up going back there during the Conria chapter because it could be below Mondstadt, the true Mondstadt quest? That's very possible too. Or Seelies were like guardian angels. Yes, they were. I think so. They have like a whole bunch of angel imagery, including like being based on sea angels. At least their degraded forms are. Seelies aren't a collective hive mind, right? I don't think they are. Angels and demons of varying levels and choirs. That makes the most sense to me. What if the traveler and their sibling are actually the second who came? Now that would be interesting. That would be interesting. 1,000 Nights Volume 2 has some interesting creatures and ideas that it introduces. Interesting. Have you collected all of those pages, by the way? I have not. But I guess I could just read it on the wiki. Zhongli is considered an adepti, but for me it always sounded like more than like a title than an actual adepti because he was the one that created, gathered, whatever. I mean, he's like the prime adeptus, or so-called. I don't know if that means he's like the first adepti. But I don't know. Seelies in Celtic mythology are actually sometimes thought to be fallen angels. Interesting. Y'all, I'm so sorry, by the way. I've just been sitting here rambling and talking with y'all. Did y'all want to see something on the screen, or are y'all good with this, with just like conversation? Because like nothing's going on the screen. Okay, well that's it for the trailer. Jesus Christ. Looks like it's gonna be some fun. It's okay, you like the rambling, this is fun, okay. Yeah, these conversations are pretty interesting. And sorry if I'm like not reading comments or like accidentally skipping over comments. I'm not doing it intentionally, I'm just kind of like scrolling. I mean, we follow them like someone guiding us to the afterlife. Was Guizhong not older than Zhongli? I actually don't know how old Guizhong was compared to Zhongli. They might be the same age. Or might have been the same age. I don't know. Onion, I also I noticed that Venti in Gliding License cutscene is portrayed without the gold round things on his wings. What do you think that those gold things symbolize? Kind of like what Magikarp was saying about symbols of the sun. It might be something like that as well, because gold is also associated with the sun, like the color gold. But I don't know. Zhongli feels like he'd be a descendant of the dragon species from before the primordial one came. Yeah, I mean, like, because we don't know what the world was like. Like, what was the world like when the seven sovereigns were ruling? We have no idea. There could have been, like, people. Like, what nations did the fucking primordial one conquer? Clearly, there must have been some kind of people, right? And it's implied to be bishops at the very least. So, yeah, maybe he was, like, a bishop. Or, like, one of the seven sovereigns. But I'm also kind of toying with the idea that the seven sovereigns were actually just like one big dragon. One big dragon of light. I have nothing. I have like nothing to really prove that. I just think it. I'm good like this, though. I need to go to sleep now. Go to sleep. This is a school night. Work night. Whatever it is, by the way. So if y'all have other engagements, don't be here. Go to sleep. Drink enough water. I love the lore in this game, and getting to talk about it with others is nice. Yes. Am I gonna go to Mensleaf's wedding? Mensleaf's wedding? I didn't know she was having a wedding, but congratulations. Is it like a wedding in game for Dainsleif because she loves Dainsleif or something? Talking with you is always a pleasure. Aw, well, talking with y'all is always a pleasure. You came for Onion and you got Onion, that's right. Answer me this. Why is that every Genshin YouTube theorist turns to a freaking documentary about ancient civilizations? Well, I mean, because Genshin itself is kind of like a documentary about ancient civilizations. It takes so much from like other cultures, and it's really a lot. Like a lot. So it's kind of hard to not turn to studying ancient civilizations and everything. Thanks for the fun. See you after 3.5. Good night, Diego. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's a Dainsliff wedding stream. That's adorable. Sleep is for the weak. Nuh-uh. Well, I have no reason to talk. I've been dealing with like fucking insomnia all my life. And it has not served me well. It has not. I swear some of the stories they told in game remind me of a fairy tale they tell us in school, which scares me. Oh gosh. Yeah, like Genshin is like a huge history class, basically. Like for real. There's a lot of stuff they put in here that I remember learning about as a kid. And like a whole bunch of stuff I never knew about. Kira, hello. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Genshin has like a ton of biblical references. Yeah, it's like heavily based on the Abrahamic religions. Yeah, but they do is point out the inspirations of Genshin lore and not information that is presented in game. It crosses from a theory to fan fiction. I mean, yeah, sometimes it can be like that, but like, and it's hard to tell. Obviously, it's hard to tell which direction Hoyoverse is going in with something, right? And it's hard to tell how much of something they're drawing inspiration from. But I think there's enough to at least prove that they do stick. Like the inspirations they take, like they take a lot of inspiration. Like a lot. And in a lot of ways, they remain faithful to the inspirations. But then there's also like, again, thinking about how that could be adapted into the game. And not necessarily just taking it at face value, because they could easily just like subvert something if they wanted to. Or like just take the visuals of something and not anything else. But it seems like for most of the game, at least the trend so far, they've done like a lot of research. And they've made a lot of things based on that research. Ashikai said the depth of research probably means they have historians on retainer to help them with the accuracy of allegories. Yeah, I would believe that because it's very like intricate. This stuff is very easy to get wrong and mess up. But then again, like, can you really quote unquote mess up in a fantasy game where they have the freedom to literally do whatever they want? But yeah, no, I think they have that. I would agree with that. They probably have someone on their story team that's like keeping it all together, because it's like, it's a lot. I love the subtle hints to Celtic lore because I've been personally researching it on my own and I absolutely love it. Yeah, like there's so many cultures. And they try to stay faithful to it, which is good. My mom keeps getting annoyed with me because I keep bringing up fun facts and then telling her I picked them up from Genshin lore. Why? She should be happy that you're learning something from a video game of all things. She should be happy. I wouldn't be surprised if they rent out a history department of university for writing regional lore. Neither would I. I wouldn't be surprised either. Queen, you've got to go. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. This was your first stream. Well, I hope you had fun. I hope you have fun. Thank you for having a nice conversation with us. When is this men's lift, Dane's lift bash? I'll probably miss it while we're remodeling my teapot again. Yeah, when is that? When is she doing that? I kind of want to watch. As someone who studied in a Catholic school, Genshin is like reliving my childhood. Right, like there's like a lot of Christian stuff that I'm like, that I stored away that's resurfacing because of this game. Yes, for example, same was in One Piece and Luffy's Devil Fruit being Zone. You know, I've never seen, like, I've seen like bits of One Piece and I read a little bit of the manga, but if you asked me about One Piece, I couldn't answer any questions about it. Hoyoverse does not know the direction themselves. They retconned Honkai lore before, and now with all the Irminsul crap, they could do it with Genshin too. I mean, that is a possibility. Hopefully that doesn't happen, though. Hopefully whatever they do, it makes sense for the game logic that they've already presented. Hopefully. You know what? I had been watching an Ashikai stream like a long time ago, and she was talking about the stuff like Irminsul and like knowing about Irminsul and why we didn't learn like the name and like some of the stuffs that we learned about Irminsul and Sumeru. Why didn't we know that in Inazuma? Especially since there was a lot like, you know, involved with that. And I kind of agree with that. What I'll say is I think it's like really weird that we never got any mentions of Irminsul really. Like from characters, I mean. Like, of course, if you dug, you could obviously find information about Irminsul. But like, I find it shocking that no one mentioned this really important world tree to us until Sumeru. Like, no one. Not even all the ley lines connect to this giant tree called Irminsul. Anyway. Hello, Natas Rule. You've missed a lot, but welcome to the stream. When will we see the tree burned by Dottore? I don't know if we're ever going to see that. I feel like we already saw the tree burning. And I think that's when Ruka Devata got erased. And possibly also when Scaramouche did his memory erasing shit that he did with Irminsul. I think that's when we saw Irminsul burning. The reason I say that is because a lot of like, especially Scaramouche's story, a lot of Ruka Devata's story had a lot to do with Buddhism, Hinduism, and everything. But specifically Buddhism and achieving nirvana, how they did Ruka Devata's story and also Scaramouche's was extremely similar to how you achieve nirvana, because you have to extinguish what's called the 3 fires or 3 poisons, and they all have to do with like worldly vices and things like that. So I think maybe Irminsul burning was representative of nirvana in a sense, but also it could have been a Homa ritual, which is like a purification ritual. You and Ashikai should do a collab stream like this one where you can talk lore together. That would be fun. I'd be down for that. I would be down for that. But you got to be on your A game around Ashikai, because she knows the lore. She's like, damn. She knows the damn lore. Sorry for the spoiler. I was referring to crossing from theory to fanfiction. Gotcha. No worries. You think the tree burning was a red herring? I just think it was very symbolic. Maybe I'll make a video about it, and like a fully fleshed out video than just me like rambling about Irminsul. I have many thoughts about Irminsul. So maybe I already have like half of a script written for that though. So I could easily make a video for it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do that before part 2. Because it is super important to the Moon Sisters and everything. Maybe I will do that. We'll see. Liloupar murdered her own family, and then Jet murdered the people who took her in, even those who surrendered. Yeah, in a way she murdered her new family, right? And technically her own people, because the Tanit tribe is her father's people. So yeah, She did murder her own family, just like Liloupar. I have so many comments about the Desert Quest BT dubs, and Liloupar, and Jet, and Matriarch Babel. Because there's a lot, we're dealing with yet another, like, frame story allegory situation. That's my opinion. Ashikai has been in a couple of podcasts, and it is painful to watch. Not because of Ashikai, but because of the others that are way too ignorant about the lore. I know she was on A Cup of Coffee. What? I'm sorry, I got the name wrong, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That one Genshin lore podcast. I think they stream on Twitch, and then they upload VODs to YouTube. I know she was on that. But I haven't seen any other podcasts or anything. You cried so much during that follow-up to Bilquis. Yeah, it was really some deep stuff. Do you think that Dottore having a Primogem shape on his mask implies anything? I don't know, because I don't know, there's so much starry imagery with like every character in the game. But also I can't. Maybe it has something, what I want to say has something to do with a theory that I'm going to do about the Harbingers later. So, for now, I'll say maybe it has significance. Jet and Liloupar is a parallel. They are both parallels, yes, to specific characters that I have in mind. Especially like Jet and like Liloupar, definitely. I think there's enough evidence to show a parallel between one character. And Jet also, I think, parallels with a different character. In a way, ending the academia use of the Akasha system is symbolically burning the tree. Though Dottore might still have revenge up his sleeve. Yeah, we don't know, because Sumeru's technically not over. But I guess until we see that damn tree burning, I'm just gonna go with the whole it was symbolic. Maybe a burning tree is a symbol of cutting of Celestia from Tevat. It's possible. It is possible. Here's the thing. So like I said, it might have been representative of a Homa ritual, right? The thing about Homa rituals, it's like this kind of purification ritual or whatever that involves like burning items as offerings, and essentially, I might be misremembering that, but the god invoked in Homa rituals, it's like, I can't remember this name. It starts with an A and it's very hard for me to pronounce, but it means like immortal wisdom king or something, which is kind of what Ahura Mazda means, because Ahura Mazda means Lord Wisdom. Like, I think that's the literal translation of it. But this god that's invoked in Homa rituals is equated with the god Rudra, who is like a god of time, animals, the wind. His main weapon of choice are like bows and arrows. There's like a lot of Venti vibes and also Istaroth vibes from that. And it's funny because in the game, we have like the Staff of Homa, which has to do with death and also purification rituals. But the statue of the omnipresent god is also shaped like the Homa symbol. The burning tree is also biblically symbolic. Moses and the burning bush. Oh, you're right, yeah. Rudra and Devil May Cry 3. That's another series I have not played. Ooh, maybe it's the same representation of a burning flag. Of burning a flag. Possibly. If Nikita gets a second story quest before Venti, I'ma be upset. Because like, how long has it been since his first one? Like, I don't know. 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 Girl, me and my thirst. Ignore that. Okay, wait. Ashikai also did a stream with Island XD. Did she? She was on Island stream too, and it turned into a freaking therapy session about Island instead of a Genshin lore stream. Well, I know. That's nice. She was helping out a friend, I guess. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure they talked lore. Onion, do you think both travelers can be the one new desert set talking about, since after arrival out from outside the firmament a war broke out, a nation was destroyed, and we both got sealed? So I think, okay, so how should I explain this? Basically, I think it's kind of like a samsara, right? So it's a cycle. It's a cyclical thing of the world gets destroyed and then renewed. Like, we already knew that was a thing in the game. Samsaras just kind of increase that feeling, like we've been learning about samsaras and everything in Sumeru. Nahida basically said the world is on a loop. So what I think is happening there is that it's just a similar situation to what the travelers went through, but it was with different characters, right? It's kind of just like how the Primordial one came, started a war, overthrew the dragons, but then the Primordial one, a war came to them, the world was destroyed and remade anew again. And then during the Cataclysm, it happened again. Like, the world was overrun with forbidden knowledge, and then everything had to be oh, Apollo and Friends. I love that channel. I don't know why I'm getting all these notifications. But do you understand? Like, it's not, I don't think it was talking about the travelers, but pertains to people like them and in a similar situation. Because if you really want to think about it, we know of 2 other people who were trying to escape, but then got caught up in a calamity and they were robbed of their memories. I'm talking about the first Seelie and the Traveler from Afar. That happened to them too. In fact, that directly parallels to what happens with our travelers, though we don't know if we lost any memories in the process. I see your point. Got it. Your point does make sense. Okay, well, good. I'm glad, because I kind of bumbled through that. The biggest question is, who is the one that jots down the descriptions of all the artifacts? Seems like someone has been watching Tevat closely and writing down minutes. I have no idea who's doing all that. That burning tree scene was dreamt by Kale. It's probably symbolic or something that would happen. It's not given that it's factual. Yeah, like, that's a good point. It could, like, since it was delivered in a dream, and dreams are heavily, like, symbolic, especially like prophetic dreams, and like not everything is straightforward. So it definitely could have just been symbolic. What do you think about the Archons and the tarot cards theory? I don't think I've heard that one. Please enlighten me. The thing about artifacts is that they're created by strong memories and feelings in the first place. So then I guess it would be like written by the people from which it took those strong memories and feelings. Travelers' whole existence seems to hinge on the fact that their memory is immaculate and can record and recall everything. That's what it seems like, but then they questioned, like, then there's all the weird shit going on with their sibling, right? And like Ether's like, did the world mess with our memories or something? So I don't know. But then again, that voice did say, like, just believe what's in front of your eyes. So yeah, you're right. Like, the whole thing seems to be, our memories are perfect. We are the, what did Zhongli call us? The witness. There we go. Whatever happened to the Traveler's purification ability? Yeah, we haven't seen that in a while. Not since purifying Dvalin's tear, right? I have no idea. But on the subject of like samsaras and everything, I think we can literally break up Tevat's history into 4 different samsaras, or another word for it is kalpas. And like a kalpa is like a period of time in which between which the universe is created, or like a world is created and then a world is destroyed. So they use this term, the Kalpa Flame Rises. Akasha Pulse's The Kalpa Flame Rises was the name of one of the version updates, right? So I think we can split it up into at least 4 different kalpas. I think the first kalpa was when the Primordial One arrived, the 7 sovereigns were ruling, and that first kalpa was brought to an end after that war. Then we have a second kalpa where the Primordial One remade the world. This is the age of humanity, the golden age of humanity, when the heavenly envoys directly communicated with humans. That came to an end with the second Who Came's arrival. Then we have the period of the Archon War and everything like that, and then the 7 seats being established. And honestly, it kind of came to an end during the Cataclysm, because we had like 5 different Archons dying, so there was a changing of seats and everything like that. The world was completely, not necessarily remade anew in terms of it changed physically, but it literally came back from the brink of destruction. So now I think we're on like a 4th kalpa. Like, this is the rule of 3 here. I think this is the rule of 3. The rule that you have to do things for a 4th time in order for everything to work. And I think we're on that 4th time. I think the cycle will end with us. Do you have a Discord that I can send you a screenshot of the devs talking about the tarots? So the second Who Came won. That would be the implication, right? But we don't know. We have no idea. Onion, have you seen someone's Genshin's vids? They're so cute and hilarious. I have not. I swear to goodness, our sister dies in the end of a story and we get a vision. I will scream. Yeah, I don't know. We could. I'm still waiting to. I'm still waiting for the Traveler to receive a vision, because Yai Mika was like, maybe you don't have one because you don't have like a great enough ambition. Which is so confusing, because I thought like aliens couldn't get visions, but whatever. But yes, I do have a Discord, but I don't think I can give that out right now. I'm not gonna give it out. Sorry, Magikarp, not right now. Maybe another time. Maybe when I get my server up and running. Ether becomes an official Animo boy by the end of Genshin. Probably. I want outfits for the Traveler more than a vision. Yeah, no, I don't have a public one. I'm sorry. Nope. Venti did say we could become one of the 4 wins once our journey was over at the end of the Mondstadt. He did, didn't he? Ashikai already made 2 theories on the tarot. Interesting. I'll have to look it up. I will have to look it up. A Kalpa equates to a Descender. Possibly. I mean, yeah, it seems like with every single, like, Samsara, Kalpa, or age or whatever, it seems like it has something to do with forbidden knowledge or shit that shouldn't be in this world, like, entering. So we had the Primordial One coming first, then we had the Invaders coming second, then we had the Travelers coming third. And now I think we're in the 4th Kalpa, which is post-cataclysm. It's about the artifacts being based on suits of tarot. Oh. No, actually, okay, no. I think I did, because I think I did see Ashikai's theory on that. Like a long time ago. I feel like I've seen that. And it was like based on some interview that the devs did, right? Where they were saying that it, like they did base something off the tarot. I thought Conrians didn't get visions, or maybe that's because of their abyssal energy use, so he'd have to be purified in the future. I don't know. Kaeya got a vision, so we don't know. That's true. But he got one while he was in Mondstadt. I think they didn't get visions because of their ties to the Primordial one. Possibly. Onion about to drop the 180 fates on Dehya. No. I regret to inform you that I will not I will not be pulling for her, unfortunately, even though I love her. Paimon during the R&R quest was repeating herself about the rule of 3. Right. She was. It was on an early interview, yes, but the way the devs talk about it is important. Interesting. Then I'll have to look it up. Do you think Kaeya is cursed? And if he isn't, then why isn't he? Do I think Kaeya is cursed? If he's cursed, I think he's in the same boat as Dainsleif, where he is cursed, but there's something special about him that is like either slowing the effects of the curse or doing something like that, which could be like blood, like a relation to a powerful being. Because Dainsleif did mention there was like an it that allowed him essentially to keep his wits. Is it confirmed that the Archons don't hand out visions themselves? I think A has a voice line about that. Yeah, so it's confirmed the Archons don't hand visions out. It seems like they don't even facilitate the process at all. It's like something else. That's Blessings of Istaroth bet. I mean, Istaroth could be giving out visions, y'all. If she is the statue of the omnipresent god, the statue of the omnipresent god has vision symbolism. Yeah, like what is it? I don't know. Is it blood? Is it like a special item? I don't know. Do we know anything about Kaeya's mom? No, but like, this is my theory, but I feel like Kaeya's mom was probably Irmin's daughter. That's what I'd like to think. Because if Irmin is Kaeya's grandfather or like one of his grandfathers, then that would still make Kaeya like a Conrian prince through his mother. And that would also explain why the Alberic clan took over. Because if his father was a part of the Alberic clan, but his mother was like an heir, then that might explain why the Alberic clan took things over. But also, the Alberic clan seemed to be important in terms of like dealing with the king and giving the king sage advice. So maybe it was something else. But yeah, I don't know what his mother is or who his mother is. We have not gotten a single thing about her. I think it is connected to Kaeya's eye. Hopefully we get more about that. Kira, do we think the Traveler is royalty? Yes, I think it's very possible. They have the symbols for royalty, which is the fleur de lis. They were recently called princes and princesses in exile. And then, of course, our sibling is literally called the Abyss Prince or Princess. So I think they are royal in some way. And also we know they were supposed to inherit their own world. According to the mysterious KK, whoever the hell that is. Hello, Mika and Miko. Welcome to the stream. We're just kind of talking, having a conversation. It's been on the same screen. I'm so sorry. I feel bad for like not having any fun things going on. Do y'all want to watch something else? Look at this. This is so cute. And look at the little Bennett. He's so precious. Oh, do y'all want to watch this? I didn't realize Ashikai uploaded.
3.4 had a lot of lore, and none of which was voiced, so it was probably pretty hard to follow.
Do y'all want to watch this? Her recap of the lore. She does such a good job on these. KK, I don't think I remember this. It's something that's outside of the game, basically. I think it was on the Traveler's welcome cards. Or like introduction cards, rather. Welcome cards. Definitely, y'all. Okay, y'all want to watch it? How about the Wei one? You want to watch that one too? The one about Zhongli, I'm assuming you're saying? Yeah, we can watch that. We can do that after this one. Maybe they were high on the hierarchy, like how a duke can be related to a king, but I do like the theory that his mother was a princess. Yeah, like, there's so many things that could be true about that, right? Like, you could be right about that. But I just have no idea. But I do think Irmin might have been, like, his grandfather, because we know he was one-eyed. Kaeya talks about his grandfather being a pirate and also wearing an eye patch, so basically being one-eyed. You know what I mean? And Condrians are kind of like pirates because supposedly they probably stole some kind of forbidden knowledge. Oh, you've been here for a while. Oh, gosh. Well, still, hi. Ashikai and Onion on one stream, even as a reaction, is doubly awesome. Oh. But wasn't it confirmed the Albrecht had no royal blood? So if his mother isn't technically part of the Albrecht clan, it can work? It's true. Girl, I have no idea. But anyway, let's start this.
For most people, and it doesn't help that the little bottle lady speaks as though she expects you to already have context for all the weird stuff she says, which most of us did not have. So, in this video I will attempt to summarize all of the important bits in a more or less chronological order. However, there are technically two stories being told simultaneously, Jet's and Liloupar's. That makes recapping the whole quest in one go a little difficult, so I am going to split...
Okay, so here's what I am gonna say. I don't know if she's gonna talk about, like, the Gurabad stuff. I assume she is because she's gonna talk about Liloupar stuff. But the Gurabad stuff was so confusing because there's so much conflicting information about it. It's so confusing. But, like, I know what it's supposed to represent, or at least I feel like I know what it's supposed to represent. But it's so ambiguous, frustratingly so, because I'm trying to make a point about what it represents, but it's kind of hard because it's not exactly clear. Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That probably made no sense. Anyway, let's continue. Let's watch Miss Ashikai.
The recap into two parts. First, we're going to cover all the highlights surrounding Liloupar and Gurabad, and then we're going to rewind and focus on just Jet and the Tanit. Also, please note that if you're watching this after version 3.4 ends, there either already is or soon will be a video covering the complete Sumeru timeline on my channel called The Beginner's Guide to Sumeru, which I do recommend watching as it will contain more detail than this video and place Liloupar's story contextually within the rest of Sumeru's history. Speaking of, let's start this video off with Liloupar's story, which will be super Liloupar-centric, meaning I'm stripping out all of the other stuff. Liloupar is a djinn. She was born, as all djinn were, from a lily that blossomed from the rivers created by the goddess of flowers after she was exiled from heaven. The djinn have a lot of similarities to the Seelies, probably because their mother was supposedly a Seelie. Now, after the goddess of flowers befriended King Deshret, the two gods built a city for the djinn in the desert called Ai Khanum. As far as I can tell, this was a city exclusively for djinn. Humans lived in similar city-states littered across the desert. After the goddess of flowers died while gifting some unknown power to King Deshret, the djinn pledged their loyalty to him. He lied to them, saying that the goddess of flowers was sleeping eternally in the oasis and that one day he would revive her. And they believed him, Liloupar especially. Around this time, a shepherd named Ormazd began uniting the people of the desert together under one banner, the Banner of Gurabad. King Deshret offered Ormazd and Gurabad his support by sending several djinn to this capital and instructing them to assist in its construction while he ran off to work on the Golden Slumber.
Okay, so like I have not found this room like at all. Like I've not found it. But I do want to point something. I want to point these things out right here. These kind of look similar to the dragon spine mural. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Dragon spine mural. It kind of looks like, yeah, no, okay, so that's like exactly the same. Like exactly the same, basically. See that? No, well, you can't right now. See that? Like right here, it's very similar. What are these supposed to... Like I had heard theories that this represented like the 3 different places where the nail had broken off and you have to get the pieces right. And then you combine those pieces with the original Skyfrost nail, and then it goes into the sky. But these look like very similar to that. Like very similar. What are these things? And Surumi, right. You just have to collect some tablets to unlock it. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that at some point. It looks like a ship, though. Kinda, yeah. I just don't know what those are. The giant astrolabe on the left. Oh, this thing? Or something else. King Deshret is your favorite god. He's a pretty cool god. And I'm assuming this is him, right? Because that's like the same as his eye. Oh, the ship in the mausoleum and the King of Deshret. Yeah, that kind of does. But like like, what is this? It's all connecting to King Deshret. Interesting. Looks like people carrying stuff on their backs. Possibly. Did those 3 symbols exist in Enkanamiya's murals at all? I don't remember. Have to go back and look. But they're, like, Enkanamiya was kind of different from, like, the rest of everywhere else. Other than, like, the chasm. I can't finish the video with you guys, but thank you for the stream. This has been so much fun and so interesting. I look forward to your future videos. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, day, whatever it is for you, Omega Wolf. Go get your sleep. Go eat some dinner. Do you. Imagine if we could drive an epic sand boat. We should have been able to have that. Like a sand sailor. Like the same stuff they had in Avatar: The Last Airbender. That would have been cool.
Something
anyway,
I will
let's
not be
continue.
doing a deep dive into in this video at this time because it's like a whole big rabbit hole on its own. Now, the 2 most important djinn for our purposes were Ferraghese and Liloupar. Ferraghese appears to have been in charge of using her powers to ensure endless water would flow through these new waterways that the djinn built. This allowed Gurabad to become a lush oasis paradise in the desert. Liloupar, on the other hand, despised this system of slavery found among the desert dwellers. As a race, Jinn took the most pride in their freedom, especially the freedom to feel, which was granted to them when they took on human-like forms. When stripped of that shape and instead placed into a machine or a bottle, they became not much more than slaves themselves. For this reason, Liloupar found the system of slavery among mortals to be rather repulsive. However, Liloupar believed Ormazd would free the desert people from slavery, and they fell in love with each other. They wed, and Liloupar...
So, this is cool. I'm assuming this is Liloupar, I'm assuming, because I've talked about it before, but like the Seelie having colors dealing with blue and white. So it's interesting that they would depict her like this because she is Seelie-like by nature of being a Jinn. And then of course we have Ormazd, who is probably her son. Like not S-O-N, but S-U-N. Like the sun in the sky. And it's interesting that she's like doing this in a similar way to like what the Heavenly Envoy is doing here. Providing knowledge. Like, and it's in the fucking shape of a triquetra or a triskelion. And it looks like it's kind of wreathed in a flower, which makes sense. Mounts in Genshin would be good. Anyway, let's continue.
Liloupar became the immortal Jinn Queen of Gurabad. As time went on, Liloupar began to realize that Ormazd was nothing more than a tyrant and had no intention of eliminating slavery. She was furious at what she perceived to be a betrayal of her trust and feelings, and thus began to plot revenge against her husband. She had bore him many children, but she cursed in particular a daughter named Shirin. Ormazd was aware of this curse and therefore shunned his daughter, forbidding her from attending any family banquets and the like. Thus, Shirin grew up resentful of her father. Liloupar also bore a son named Kisra, whose father is unknown, and had him raised by the divine bird Gognus. Kisra grew up to be a hero, and his numerous exploits led to Ormazd adopting him and granting him Shirin's hand in marriage as a reward. All three of them were completely unaware that this had been Liloupar's plan all along. Shirin and Kisra were not in love, but they consented to the marriage as they both desired the throne. Not enough to commit mass murder over, but Liloupar had other ideas. She tricked Shirin into delivering poisoned honey to be served at a banquet for her father and 300 siblings, and of course they all died. Kisra took advantage of the event to seize the empty throne, but as Shirin...
So like, this is also the thing. Because like there was... Because it's a bit pixelated. Oh, let me change that. Sorry, y'all. That's 1080. But, thank you so much for the stream, Onion. I'm gonna go to sleep now because you can't keep my... Girl, go to sleep. Goodbye, Sonnet. Have a good night. Sleep well. Sleep well. But here's the thing, like, about Pavezravan, if I'm saying that right, I don't think I am, and Shirin. Because they're like siblings, but also lovers. Right? Because Pavezravan was adopted by Ormazd. So technically they're not blood, but they are siblings. How do we feel about this? I think that's a very important detail. Like, this entire thing is very important. And we're going to talk about it in videos. But at least that's my understanding of this. But he was born by Liloupar too, though. It's so weird. Because Shirin and Pavezravan were engaged in marriage. They were, like, Ormazd gave Shirin to him, essentially. But they're both Liloupar's children. But if I remember reading correctly, Ormazd adopted Pavezravan. You gotta keep it in the family. Oh god, not incest. Not incest. Please no incest. I'm confused. Was Sheeran born by Liloupar too? Or was it no, yeah, Sheeran was her daughter and also Ormaz's daughter. Like, that's their daughter. My confusion comes in with Parvez Ravan, because Parvez Ravan and Sheeran are siblings, but also husband and wife. But I don't think they're technically related. But y'all are saying he was Liloupar's child. But did they just adopt him? Or did she birth him? Anyway, we're gonna continue. We're gonna fucking continue. I don't want to think about that anymore.
Erin realized what had happened, and by her hand, she began to lose her mind. And in this unstable state, she bore Kisra a son, Shiruya, who she would spoil to an unhealthy degree. Kisra, now also known by the name Parvez, then declared the abolition of all forms of slavery and became quite popular among the common folk. And sure, on the surface this appeared to be a great thing, but the thing is, Liloupar's ornate revenge against Ormaz did not end with his death. She took advantage of Kisra's desire for more power and designed machines powered by djinns that would replace the slave laborers entirely, and then she gifted those designs to Kisra in a dream. Kisra soon begins mass production of these machines, while Sheeran takes charge of providing the djinn to power them by giving birth to them somehow. I'm not sure how, exactly. It's not ever stated anywhere. These djinn were malformed and bound to the machines in ways that stripped them of their freedom. Their consciousnesses were shattered and fragmented, but they still had some level of self-awareness, and they resented Sheeran for birthing them into such a miserable existence. They considered themselves slaves, and as a race that prided itself in its freedom, let's just say that their hatred and resentment began to fester. Liloupar's sister, Ferraghese, saw what Liloupar was doing to her family and to the people, and she grew quite frightened, and rightly so. Now, unable or perhaps unwilling to stop her sister herself, she decided to become the guardian of the entrance to the eternal oasis where the goddess of flowers slept, forever restricting Liloupar's access to it. But since this meant leaving her post at the waterways, the endless waters of Gurabad would begin to run dry over time. So the djinn machines did their job and successfully removed the need for slave labor. And that seemed to be a good thing at the time, except that, as they would all find out, this also removed the need for any human labor, not just slave labor. So with no reason to care for people who weren't earning them money, former slave owners had no incentive to care for the people, and laborers no longer had a means to earn a living. This led to a great period of civil unrest. Meanwhile, Sheeran was tormented by past deeds and by the cries of her enslaved djinn children. Her one source of solace was her son Shiruya, but when he reached adulthood, Kisra banished him from Gurabad, fearful that his son would overthrow him. Sheeran was already furious with him and kind of
So let me ask you this. We talked about the world being in a kind of samsara, right? Or like there's like 4 different kalpas, 4 different samsaras going on, and in each one there's kind of a changing of hands when it comes to power, right? So in terms of the question of the primordial one, whether they won or not, do you think it's possible that they were overthrown by their own children? And it's funny that one of the very sussy sus little boys, certain femboy, has a theme of freedom, but also rebellion. And in Greek mythology, yes, that's like a big point in Greek mythology. It's a changing of hands, but it's always family. It's literally the son and daughters of the previous ruler overthrowing their father. And in addition to that, it's usually the mother who is spurning her children on to overthrow their fathers. So when it was Cronus, or rather Uranus, she inspired Cronus to overthrow his father and castrate him. Well, he might have just castrated him on his own, but he definitely overthrew his father at her fucking suggestions. And then the Titans ruled. But then Cronus got very paranoid, devoured his own children, but then Rhea saved Zeus, the sun. And that is what would enable Zeus later on to overthrow his father, free his siblings, and then become king of the cosmos. We're dealing with the same situation here in Gurabad. So how much you want to bet that may have happened with the primordial one? Here's the thing as well with Venti and Istaroth. So one of Istaroth's name that the Enkanamians gave her is Kairos, correct? And I think Ashikai did a video on this, noting that there's another god by the name of Kairos that's like an archer. He's like bald-headed, has to deal with luck, that kind of thing. But he has like a lot of Venti vibes. The thing about Kairos is that he was supposed to overthrow his father, Zeus, but instead he chases the love of the goddess Fortuna, who is a goddess of fate. And we know there was a traveler from afar and a first Seelie who were punished for some reason and robbed of their memories, and we don't know why they were punished. Like, what did they have to do with the world going cuckoo? Anyway, that's just food for thought. We're gonna continue.
Stable as it was, so it should surprise no one that she began to plot to kill her husband, just like her mother. To do this, Shirin covertly assisted Shiruya in gathering the suffering common folk and former slaves who had been displaced by the Jinn machines, and whilst disguised beneath a brass mask, Shiruya was able to lead those people in rebellion against his father. The rebellion itself was brutal. Somehow the malformed Jinn within the machines were freed, and they ravaged the people of Gurabad in revenge for their imprisonment.
Also, I read your comment earlier, Silvar Ogre, about Isis and Osiris. Yes. 1000% yes. And I see that in this story as well, with Shiruya and being hidden by a brass mask. Dressing the sun up as like a servant. That's also present in, if you guys have read the lore for Zephos's, I can't remember the full name of the sword, but the character is named Zephos and his lore. If you guys have read that, there are also Isis and Osiris vibes there too. What if Venti is actually the result of the Seelie in the Traveler from Afar's tale? Who knows? Isn't one of the new artifacts that's talking about how the Primordial One fears their children? It talked about them being... They were like afraid when they saw the invaders come in and like all the dark poison was screwing things up. So they kind of... It seems like they kind of made like a quick decision to like send down the celestial nails, which ended up, it seems like it healed the forbidden knowledge, but it also killed a whole bunch of people. Also, Isis kind of also leads Horus to avenge Osiris with Set. Yep. Yep. Similarities between the Eye of Osiris, Horus, and the Eye of Odin. And also, Dionysus was often conflated with Osiris. And Dionysus is very similar to Venti. Anyway, we're gonna continue.
And while all of this was happening, Liloupar decided to lend the rebellion a hand by leveraging the power of the Abyss and unleashing a terrible black plague upon the city. The details here are a bit unclear, but it seems to be similar to abyssal corruption, as King Kisra was transformed into a dark monster by it. Now, in all honesty, though, the details here are really murky. Just know that Gurabad had this crazy rebellion, a plague, and then fell through a crack in the earth, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing when I read that.
And the survivors were dispersed. It was around this time that Deshret finally returned from his work on the Golden Slumber, and while having been exposed to the effects of the Abyss and therefore slowly starting to lose his mind, he wasn't completely lost yet. He was, however, furious at the state of Gurabad and what Liloupar had done. So he tore her into 7 pieces, instructing 7 sages to hide each of her segments in different locations as punishment. And then she would sleep for several thousand years.
Now, what does that sound like to you? Does that sound like anything to you? Being split into pieces and then sealed in different locations. And also this area called Liloupar's cell. What was she sealed inside of, y'all? What did we find her inside of? A fucking tree. 7 Gnosis. You know, there's a myth about Phanes and his incarnation Dionysus being murdered by the Titans, and his limbs are split apart. Then there's also Osiris, who had his limbs split apart, his body split into pieces. Anyway.
Which brings us to Jet. Jet is the daughter of a desert mercenary, Jabril, and an academia scholar, Ufera. Oddly enough, she grew up in the rainforest, and her first taste of desert life came when another scholar, Tirzad, hired her and her father as bodyguards and guides on one of his...
Liloupar's Exodia confirmed, basically.
Now, Tirzad held a rather prejudiced belief that the desert folk were all barbaric and that King Deshret had ruled as a tyrant.
And yes, also the nails, possibly.
Proof of his claims, but after discovering the primal construct Ben, his claims were actually proven false. King Deshret was actually a benevolent god who did what he thought was best for the people. Now, during their journey, Jet learns more about her mother's research, and why her father left his tribe to begin with to be with her. Turns out that the tribe was trying to unleash King Deshret's biggest mistake, the Golden Slumber, and Ufera's notes were the key to doing so. When they finally unlocked Kaj Nasut, one of the tribesmen that had been antagonizing them, Samael, sat upon the throne and died. His mind was absorbed into the Golden Slumber. Jet, Jabril, Tirzad, and the Traveler managed to escape successfully, but Jabril went back willingly to be absorbed by the Golden Slumber, claiming that if he left it unchecked, Samael could obtain an obscene amount of power and cause untold disaster. Tirzad was greatly humbled by his experiences in the desert and wrote about them when he returned to the academia. Jet, however, took that guy deeper into the desert. She found her father's old tribe, the Tanit, and was taken in by their leader, Matriarch Babel.
Yep, that's also true. The Traveler's powers are also sealed, and we're going to 7 different regions to get the powers back, right? Right? What would happen if the Traveler gets in contact with a Gnosis? We never touched one so far. I don't know. I don't know what would happen. I wonder if the glass container Liloupar was sealed in has any meaning too. No idea. I don't know. Babel like the Tower of Babel. Yes. I actually want to discuss that later on. I'm not going to discuss it now. But I am going to bring that up because I do want to talk about Matriarch Babel and stuff like that.
Now, since Jet's mother wasn't from the desert, she was considered a half outsider, so she worked very hard in carrying out Babel's orders, unsavory as they were, so that she would be accepted by this place that she wanted to call home. By the time the Traveler arrived, Babel had already asked Jet to find this place called the Eternal Oasis, the place where the body of the Goddess of Flowers lied. Babel believes this place to be some kind of paradise in the desert, and also the key to uniting the people of the desert one last time into one big happy family. Gurabad 2.0. The hunt for the Eternal Oasis began with Jet, Azariq, and the Traveler locating Liloupar, or at least one of her 7 pieces. Liloupar took an immediate liking to the Traveler and made a pact with them. We'll talk about her attitude a little bit more towards Jet later, but yes, she's basically a bitter and abrasive little rat in a bottle for the entire journey, and particularly hostile, not towards Jet necessarily, but towards Babel. As luck would have it, Liloupar also wanted to go to the Eternal Oasis to see the Goddess of Flowers, so she cooperated. But in order to help the Traveler and Jet, she needed to find her other 6 segments. During the hunt, she continuously berated Jet for having no self-awareness and for being far too trusting, and soon enough, Azariq shows his true colors by demanding they hand over Liloupar to him. He had planned to take over the matrilineal Tanit tribe by marrying Jet, and had even willingly colluded with the Fatui, which should be how he knew how to operate the Ruin Golem, I think. So this was another instance of betrayal, so Jet killed him and navigated the sewers of Gurabad to find the Eternal Oasis, which was guarded by Liloupar's sister Faragis, who the Traveler then killed so that they could enter. It's a lot of death. It's a very bloody quest. Inside the Eternal Oasis, Liloupar was distraught to realize that King Deshret had lied to all of the Jinn. The Goddess of Flowers hadn't been sleeping here at all. Jet took some time to leave her father's axe and her mother's notes behind as a memorial before returning back to Babel. Bad vibes all around, so Jet asked the Traveler to help her get Ben fixed, since he'd previously run out of battery, which led to the discovery that more Tanit were involved with the Fatui. Joy. Babel then ordered Jet to kill the Traveler so that she could take Liloupar for herself, since, you know, the Jinn can only be separated from their masters in death. But Jet refused, so after the Traveler left, Babel gave Jet to the Fatui for some human experimentation fun times, and told Jet that the Traveler betrayed them, and that's why she's getting sent off. Babel then told the Traveler when they came back that Jet betrayed the tribe instead, and upon investigating, the Traveler found Jet on a murderous Fatui killing rampage. She eventually calmed down, and together she and the Traveler realized that Babel had decided to kill them both, using each other. So they confronted her instead. Now Babel tried to win Jet over one more time, but it was kinda pointless. One long battle later, the Tanit were all but decimated, and Babel declared Jet a traitor to all desert tribes. Apparently, she'd already alerted them all to Jet's actions, and Jet could no longer find any.
Okay, so here's the thing. Before the Tower of Babel, humans used to speak the same language. After the Tower of Babel, God cursed the humans for speaking the same language due to their arrogation of the heavens. So, yeah, her voice is so nice. She could tell me a story and we would just all listen 24/7. But here's the thing. It's interesting that that Matriarch Babel is named Babel, specifically Matriarch Babel. One, it's the perfect name for her because she is causing confusion. She did in this quest, right? She lied to people, tried to get others to kill each other, basically. She wanted to fucking become like this priestess of the Goddess of Flowers by the end of it or something, right? But as Magikarp pointed out, God cursed humanity by making them speak different languages after they tried to build this tower that would reach the heavens. Hence the Tower of Babel, and I think it also has to deal with Babylonia, but that's unimportant. But that directly parallels with what we've seen in Genshin. We know, or we've heard rumblings from like one little, I think, in-game message that states that kings and priests were trying to build this tower that reached the heavens or the sky, that reached into the sky. We also know that ancient civilizations might have been interested in pursuing forbidden knowledge because that was a taboo. Like, the heavenly envoys were silent. So what people would end up doing is just going deep into the earth. And what's deep into the earth? The abyss. Oh, good night, Pluppy. Please go get sleep. Thank you for joining the stream. So then what happens during that time period, basically, or rather what I'm assuming is that time period? The second who came, like invaders come from outside of the firmament. But in order to fix this, the Primordial One sends down nails. But what do the nails do other than getting rid of the forbidden knowledge? It scatters everyone. No more unified civilization. So that parallels with the Tower of Babel story. God cursing humanity. And the Spiral Abyss is one of those towers. It very well could be, because it is a tower reaching into the abyss. But it's weird because it's like, we're going down, aren't we? This is that conversation we were having earlier. But the tower was reaching into the sky? TLDR, fucking Tevat is underground. But what I wanted to mention is that Matriarch Babel might be a parallel to another character who has crimson themes and also might have motherly themes. We are going to talk about this in my next video. So that was like an introductory to what some of the things we are going to discuss in my next video. I don't actually think I'm going to mention the desert though, because that's like a whole other fucking situation. There's so much, like I said earlier, this is like, we're dealing with a frame story here, in my opinion, and an allegory. But I'll probably do that in its own separate video. We go up in the abyss, right? Tevat is upside down. But anyway, let's continue. Let's finish this off.
Home anywhere in the desert. But Jet kills Babel regardless and takes Ben Ben with her on a new solo journey, and no one knows where to. Will we meet Jet again? Who knows? But if we do, I hope we don't have to kill her, because it kind of feels like that's the direction we're going. And okay, that's enough, recap for now. It's time for the not-so-rapid-fire roundup, because I have a little bit of some post-quest thoughts that I want to share in no particular order. So we're going to start off with the relationship between Liloupar and Jet. Now, after Jet's quest, there are a couple of optional quests wherein you can find Liloupar's last segment, as well as the sunken gates of Gurabad. Once whole, Liloupar falls silent and never speaks again. Now, I've seen a lot of comments about how Liloupar is horribly racist, and to an extent, there's a lot of truth in that. But the racism in this specific case is actually more of a side effect of another viewpoint entirely that I think people overlook, so I kind of want to talk about that. I mentioned earlier in Liloupar's story that the Jinn took great pride in their sense of freedom. To be imprisoned was really unforgivable, and that was a view that they imposed on humans as well. And this is part of why Liloupar felt Ormaz's betrayal so strongly. He had never had any intention of abolishing a system of slavery in the desert. The Jinn, being a rather volatile and emotional race, take their revenge schemes to the most extreme points they possibly can, hence her multi-generational scheme. So when the Traveler and Jet woke Liloupar up, she had been sleeping for thousands of years, and as far as she was concerned, the people of the desert hadn't changed at all since the last time she woke up. She was looking down on them for willingly being slaves, perpetuating a system where they were not free. This is why she calls Jet a slave so many times. She doesn't hate the desert people as a race necessarily, she just thinks, misguidedly, that the desert folk are only capable of systemic slavery because that's all she's ever witnessed. Is that correct?
That's a perfect way to explain that. Because, like, I had seen people saying that Liloupar was racist, like, on Twitter a little bit. I literally only saw, like, one thing about it, and I didn't really understand it, but then I was like, yeah, she is kind of racist towards humanity, but also, like, she expected them to still be slaves. Which is kind of why she was, like, the way that she was. That's not justifying her, though. Stay away from Twitter. I try. I literally try. That's why I'm not that active on there. And there's like spoilers rampant on Twitter, so I've like had to mute so many channels. Yeah, she's a very, very broken person. And technically, literally, since she was split into 7 different pieces. But anyway.
Correct? No, it's not, obviously. Now, her attitude towards Jet
Oh,
does
you're enjoying my
change
crack
slowly
theories?
over
Yeah, those are
time
fun
as
to
she
do.
watches Jet fight for her autonomy and prove her free will. She does try to slowly guide Jet towards the truth in her own cryptic way, and I think that's why Jet doesn't really hate Liloupar by the end of the questline. I think Jet understood the intentions in some form. Is Liloupar still racist and pretty classist? Yeah, a little bit.
She is.
But nuances are really important when it comes to building bridges of understanding and progress. If you take nothing else from their relationship, I hope you take that. Now, it's ironic to me that Jinn pride themselves in their freedom when they pledge themselves freely to their masters. But they do say that a Jinn has to choose the master can't choose the Jinn. So I guess there's freedom of choice in that way. But Liloupar recognized the Traveler as her master. Now, Liloupar was also a Jinn that was sealed in a bottle by King Deshret, which should make him quite similar to the biblical character of Solomon, who did the exact same thing, sealed Jinn in bottles. Now, curiously, Liloupar associates the Traveler with her master, physically, like the Traveler looks like her master. And since her master is different from her mistress, we can only assume that the master is King Deshret and not the Goddess of Flowers. In other words, the Traveler looks like King Deshret. And given that the gods of Tevat, like Archons, all bear the names of demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon, which is basically just a list of all the Jinn and demons that he subjugated, it makes you wonder what type of being Deshret really was. I mean, he was already so powerful that Celestia just offered him a gnosis, presumably, and he was like, "Nah, fam, I don't need your trinkets," and just kind of went about his day. And if the Traveler is like him physically, then I wonder if the reverse is true and that Deshret is like the Traveler physically. In other words, is Deshret a descender? Is that actually what they meant when they called him the Son of the Sky? I don't know, it's food for thought. I want to look into it later, but not right now. Moving right along, I want to talk a little bit about the R&R, which seems like a weird thing to talk about because we're not even in the rainforest. But anyway, Rukkhadevata made the R&R.
Yeah, racist is racist even when there's a
by
reason.
The Goddess of Flowers. And,
absolutely.
You know, the R&R are kind of Rukkhadevata's familiars, you know? So comparatively, the Jinn are like the Goddess of Flowers familiars, right?
Yeah.
And if we just assume that the familiars reflect aspects of their charges, we are suddenly left with a very, you know, particularly yikes picture of what the Goddess of Flowers was really like on the inside. I have nowhere else I'm going with that. I just wanted to share.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. Because, like, in the Flowers of Paradise Lost artifact set, there's, like, this really weird line that says that, like, something was within the calculus of the Goddess of Flowers. Like, she had already foreseen the route that Deshret would take, and it almost seemed like she was kind of leading him towards it, in a way. I don't know. But I feel like it was almost like, it gave me like a malevolent vibe, almost. But also not. I don't know, it was weird. But hopefully she was not like at least Liloupar, because Liloupar, holy shit. Holy shit. You caused an entire downfall of an entire civilization. Which, I mean, I get it. Your man was like doing slavery, which is always bad. But like, damn. She even cursed her own children. Oh yeah, like the R&R have cute little music notes. It's really cute. On like their heads and hats. There's a lot of food for thought here. Like just within the whole desert shebang.
And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the Eternal Oasis. Now, I'm kind of speculating a little bit because it's not super clear in the lore that we have currently, but it appears as though the Goddess of Flowers originally created a magnificent Patisara garden where she and the Jinn lived before Deshret arrived. This is kind of implied to be the Eternal Oasis, but it's also kind of implied that Deshret either rebuilt this garden from his memories, and therefore that's what became the Eternal Oasis, or that he contained the Patisara garden in this weird subspace field that he set below ground. In other words, it's his fault that the garden is frozen in time. Now, it's heavily implied that he did this by leveraging the power of a celestial nail, which has some weird implications, because if you think about it for a second, a celestial nail being able to literally stop time, what does that mean for all these other places where we see celestial nails? Also, fun fact, if you saw all the puzzles in here, one of the thrones actually blossoms with flowers. And that throne does not belong to the goddess of flowers, as you would think it would, since it would be her garden, technically. The throne actually belongs to Deshret, and that feels significant. Oh, also, the 3 thrones here have names on them. That's how we know whose throne is whose. One of them says Nabu Malikata, which is the moniker of the goddess of flowers, and also another name for the Queen of Sheba, but that's another thing entirely. Oh, but she did have a lot of relations with Solomon, so hence Deshret, Solomon, goddess of flowers, Queen of Sheba, love it. Anyway, the other one is obviously Ruka Devata, and yeah, I mean Ruka Devata and not Kusanali, meaning Irminsul could not update this place. This place is outside of Irminsul's reach. Makes you wonder what else is outside of Irminsul's reach, because it doesn't seem to be completely...
So... Okay. It's outside of Irminsul's reach. I don't know about that. The reason I say that is because obviously you can find an Irminsul branch in this place. Like, it's on the other side of this island, right? Like, obviously this place can't be influenced by Irminsul, right? Obviously. But I'm thinking the reason Irminsul does not work here is just because this place is fixed in time. It's just a place where time has stopped. But like, you can find an Irminsul branch in here. Right? We might be able to encounter a nail in the yellow glowing cavern in the north. Oh, that one cavern with the swirly thing that talks about that person Apep. Yes, there is an Irminsul branch, but when you use elemental visions, it does not shine like all the other branches. Yeah, it's like, this place is like disconnected from Irminsul. Ashikai talked about how the branches there probably points towards the celestial nail. Oh, interesting. Okay, wait, let's finish this then. Let's finish this.
Ubiquitous, you know? Anyway, guys, that's it for me for today. I'm sorry if the visuals were a little bit lackluster for this video. It's really hard to find good footage for things that happened off screen like thousands of years ago. I do my best. Anyway, thank you to all of these lovely channel members for their support in helping me make these videos possible. And thanks to every single one of you out there for watching. You're all the best. Now, I am impatiently waiting for 3.5 to get here so I can finally get all the sand out of my shoes. I'll see you guys on the flip side, though. Take care.
That was really good. She summarized it like really well. Genshin. And had some very good points. She said that on a live stream. Oh, okay. I guess Irminsul branches in other places point to other nails. That's interesting. All right, let's look. Exposing Zhongli. I can't fucking way. Jesus. This guy. If you ever paid attention to the character constellations, you would have noticed that their constellation matches their character quest. Yes. Though there is an exception. I can't. Oh, that picture of Venti. You just witnessed way kawaii beans. Yes, yes. Yeah, Zhongli.
Mr. Bear!
That is interesting. Like, that is very interesting. This is just as sus as me finding the fact that nobody calls, in voice lines, nobody refers to Venti as Barbados. It's always like about Venti, but it's not about Barbados, which is really suspicious. Does that mean the branch in Mondstadt points to Dragonspine? Maybe, possibly. Way got the crack theories. Yeah, but like they always make a semblance of sense, and this one makes sense to me as well. He points out some very, very interesting things. Oh, wait. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
It's Latin for ancient history. I mean, he is... Zhongli is like the history dude. So, I mean, it makes sense in that way. It's just weird that he doesn't follow the whole constellation theme. The most ancient history of Tibet is the story of the Primordial one. Yeah. So far. In the description of Mist-Veiled Primo Elixir.
An elixir of the highest quality.
Ooh, that's Min's
state
list.
of intertwining order and chaos.
I will have order.
Fucking way.
How the world was when it was first created. Of course, someone knows that this was not the case.
Yeah, it is weird also that, like Bethany says, it's weird that Venti and Zhongli have Day in their cons, but not Nahida and A. What's really suspicious about that is why doesn't A have it in her name? I know it's like people think, oh, the original Archons must have had Day in their names, but we know that A was around at the time. She was also serving as like the Archon as well. So why wouldn't she have like Day in her name? Why wouldn't she have it either? I know she wasn't the official Archon, but she was around. It's weird. It's very suspicious. Is he going to say Zhongli is the primordial one? Well, I think Zhongli might be a descender, might be where Wei is going with this. But yeah, like I always thought it was just weird that A of all people didn't have Day in her name. Her constellation name. Yeah, but A wasn't officially the Archon. Right, but like... So it wasn't her destiny. And like, that's a possibility. I just find it weird. I just find it weird, y'all. She was around, but not the Archon, so maybe that's it. Yeah. It's possible, but like... Okay. Let's continue.
Osmanthus wine takes.
Because the Ascension material is based in Liyue. Yes. Zhongli is the boss of all Adepti, also the oldest person that's alive in Liyue. Yes. The only person that possibly knows anything about the world when it was first created has to be Zhongli. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. I have to remind you that A possibly knows who Istaroth is or has a conception of Istaroth because of her second story quest. We literally got Istaroth's name in the text bubble as, you know, A was explaining maybe it was a higher power. So that's an indication that A possibly knows Istaroth, who is also from the old world. So Zhongli's not necessarily the only one that knows anything about the world when it was first created. Right? Yeah, but A let her sister win instead of her. Right. Right, but they're like twins. Like we were having a conversation earlier, twins can kind of be conflated with each other. It's that duality theme. So it's like, why wasn't, well, whatever. Dehya is older. That's what I remember also. Dehya also was implied to be more powerful than Morax, because Morax was talking about, I don't know if I would have been able to beat you even at full power. But I mean, if Dehya honestly might have been the original Geo Sovereign rather, just in a degraded form. Let's continue. This means Zhongli is an ancient primordial being who witnessed the creation of Teyvat. The other possibility is that he was created at the very beginning, like along with Teyvat. But he might not have witnessed what came before. I don't know. Let's continue. How would he know that this elixir doesn't mirror how the world was when it was first created? That is a good point. But again, like, it's possible he was there for the creation of the world. I don't know. Okay, so the creation story that Before Sun and Moon gives can kind of be confusing, because it says, like, the primordial one arrived and the world was made anew. Then it did war with the fucking primordial dragon 7 sovereign things. And then after that, like after that 40-year-long war, it then recreated the world, basically, by creating life, terraforming, essential, blah, blah, blah. So, like, what is the creation of the world versus, like, the beginning? I don't know. I'm confusing myself. I'm confusing my fucking self. Y'all, I'm confusing my fucking self. I hope we have a male shade. I think we do. Yeah, Wei's music is always... he's hilarious. Zhongli story quest says Venti is older than A. Yeah, Zhongli and A are supposedly the oldest, with Zhongli being older, allegedly. But here's what I'm going to say about that. We have to keep in mind that we can't necessarily take birth as being the moment something was created or the moment something started to exist. Because if you take Scaramouche, for example, when he became a god, he kept saying he was born as a god. He was being born as a god. So you can consider that his birthday, or it's like the first year of him being born, but as a god. That doesn't mean he didn't exist prior to that, correct? I don't know. Perhaps Zhongli is the friends we made all along the way, right? Could be the elixir is the world with the primordial one and the real creation is the creation with the 7 dragons? Possibly. See, I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Akamatsu. We can't fact check either, like what the Archons say. I don't think the Archons are intentionally lying. Like, especially A. I don't think she lied to us at all about what she said. She barely could give us information anyway. I think Venti omits information. I don't know if he's lying to us. Zhongli does the same fucking thing. But again, I don't know if he's lying to us. But again, is it just lying by omission? We really do need a fucking timeline because it's all over the place. It's very confusing and there are things that like conflict with each other. Maybe I'll attempt to do one. Maybe we should do one in a stream one day. How about that? That would be fun. Maybe we can like get some other lore people in to like figure out a fucking Genshin timeline by bringing in like the community and then the theorists and then just figuring it the fuck out. The wiki does a good job too. Like the people who run the wiki do a pretty good job of like trying to place the order of events, but there's always just something that's contradictory in the fucking lore. Yeah, we need like an updated one at this point. The most honest Archon is Zhongli. He straight up says I can't tell you about this or that because I'm contractually binded. Yeah, and well, like A says the same thing in one of her voice lines when she talks about visions. She's like, what I can say has certain constraints. Yeah, the wiki does. Whoever's running the wiki, like, good for you. Like, it's a lot of information to parse through. They do such a good job, though. It's clear and concise. And then the footnotes are also very helpful. Like, the wiki is such a godsend. Ugh. But anyway. Yeah, like, give a wave of applause for them. But anyway, let's continue. No, yeah, I think Wei's point is, like, very... He has some good points. Oh my god. Which means defeated, not necessarily killed, yeah. Mm-hmm. And we already know there's like a new set of sovereigns. That's true. He did say that.
It was signed before it all began. I have always honored the contract and kept my silence.
That's so interesting. He did not use the Pornhub thing, because I think that was the Pornhub thing.
It was signed before it all began.
This dude.
I have always honored the contract.
Zhongli is either a shade of Phanes or... Wait, what did that say? Either a shade of Phanes or a surviving sovereign. That's such an interesting idea. Like, we were talking a little bit earlier about him, Zhongli, being the Geo Dragon, like the original one. I don't know, though, because here's the thing. How do we know the Primordial one came alone? How do we know he came alone? We also don't know if there were other races living in the world of the Seven Sovereigns. So it could have been bishops and everything, but there could have been other races too, right? Possibly. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know if he's a sovereign or a shade. Like, because, like, I don't know, there's so much. There's so many things to consider with this, because I don't know if the Primordial one even came alone, because there could have been others with him. Or even outside of the Primordial one, there could have been other races living on to that. He's half chillin'. Who's his mom, dad? That's the question. But this is such an interesting... Oh, this is such an interesting idea. So then, like, this would be once again, so like, who agrees to serve the Primordial One after their defeat? Like, referring to the Seven Sovereigns' defeat. So, my question is, like, what, it goes back to, like, what is the beginning? Is the beginning when the Primordial One got here? Or is the beginning when the Primordial One won the war and then reformed the Earth? That's what I'm confused as far as like the timeline is concerned. Reminds me of Zeus and the Titans. Anyway, let's continue. Sign this contract. Yes, sir. Which explains why Zhongli seems to have been unaffected by Do we know that? From the previous video, Zhongli Descender Theory. Yes, I saw that. Only 2 of the first 7 remain in positions of rulership. Only 2 remain of the first 7. So... Okay, so... I don't know if we can use this as... Because the difference between only 2 remain of the first 7 and then only 2 of the first 7 remain in positions of rulership is, after the Irminsul wipe, everybody thinks that Nahida was the original Dendro Archon, but she was not in a position of rulership. So this does go with the Irminsul version of events. So this is, in a way, an update from only 2 remain of the first 7. But the second thing here, the after only 2 of the first 7 remain in positions of rulership, that does apply to the new version of events. Right? Maybe? Possibly? But let's see. Let's see what you got for us, Wei. Zhongli belongs to the old world. He existed before the creation of Teyvat, the new world. Possibly. Or he was created when the new world was created. Technically, he is not native to Teyvat. Hence making him a descender. Okay.
As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years.
That is an interesting way to put that. Like, that is an interesting way for him to put that. You've dwelt upon this world for 6,000 years. Okay, but what about before that? And then it says, in the beginning, Rex Lapis descended. Okay. Descended from where? See, like, there's... Ugh. Like, Zhongli is so sus. Notice how they don't use the word born. Yes. That's a good point. Implying Zhongli arrived to Teyvat instead of being born in Teyvat. The story of before Sun and Moon is categorized in eras. Yes. Before that, he was drinking wine. Yes, a reference to Noah's Ark. 40 years after the held branches. The year of the Ark's opening. The year of Jubilee. Yes, they are all biblical references. In the Bible, God created the world, corresponding to the Primordial One creating Tevat. Hence, Earth equals Tevat. We know Zhongli is present when Tevat was created. Okay. And this just blew my mind. Cause like after I thought about it, I was like, wow, that's so right.
As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years.
Damn way. Just that one, oh, what did I just click on? Yeah, that one just like, that last little bit threw me for a loop. Yeah, his way of ending, he's a funny guy. Didn't Dvalin descend too from Celestia? Well, like he like poofed into existence, for lack of a better word. He just like coalesced into existence, possibly from like the light realm. If you guys remember the light realm, the human realm, what's it called? The void realm from Enkanomiya, and how they delineated the 3 different realms. Yes, in Judaism, the current year is 5,783. So interesting. There is a theory that the second who came defeated the Primordial One and forced gods of Tevat to fight to the death to reduce their numbers, and survivors were allowed to keep their people alive. That's a good idea. Because it's like, why did they even have the Archon War? What would the point be? And also, why would the gods listen to Celestia and do war? It makes you wonder. I don't know. Zhongli is Adam confirmed. Oh, that was good. Also, that lady with serpent eyes. What happened to her and Bishop plotting? Girl, I don't know. I hope she pops up again. Because the 3-realm gateway thing was pretty cool. I hope she pops up again. Like, what is so important about the 7 seats that they needed to fight over them? I have no idea. And it's also like, when did the gods come into existence? Which confuses me. Yes, I please need an answer on why the Archon War happened. Just too many gods. Yeah, it's just like... And what were those gods before the Archon War? Like, were all the gods heavenly envoys, or were just the Seelie? Are they like degraded Seelies? Like, what's going on? Okay, y'all. I think I'm gonna call it there because I'm hungry and I have to go to bed soon, actually. But thank you guys for joining the stream. This one was a fun one. We talked a lot of lore. I feel like we didn't talk that much about 3.5 though, but that's okay. We talked a little bit about it. But I have missed y'all. This is good. I've missed y'all. I've missed talking about theories and stuff. So we'll have to do this again soon. As far as content is concerned, I'm gonna try my hardest to have my next video coming out within the next couple of weeks. I still have to iron out editing stuff. I still have to like re-record stuff, to be honest, because I've had to change this script so many times just because I've added in stuff, deleted stuff, put stuff away to talk about in different videos. I don't fucking know. It's a lot, but hopefully I'm gonna return soon. But I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Am I going to do a stream after 3.5? Probably at some point, yeah. Yeah, because 3.5, it's looking to be a good patch. Like, very lore heavy. So, I may make a video. We'll see. For, like, some of the important points of 3.5. But we'll see. But have a good night, you guys. It's so nice chatting with you guys all the time. So good. Got some people to visit as well. Some people to visit. All of you visited. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm so hungry and delirious. All right, good night, everybody. I will see you soon, and enjoy 3.5. Hopefully it goes up in like a couple hours or so. Bye. Boop. Wait, actually, I have to stop it on here. Jesus Christ. That was bright, but we're going to end it.